It's not fair. There aren't any misstories. Would you like me to?
Vision, can you stop and start recording again, please?
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. Everyone can see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Welcome everyone to the R42 Institute Fellows Cohort 8 Demo Day. We've all been waiting for today. So today you'll hear amazing projects by our fellows at the cutting edge of AI, longevity, health, finance, and creativity. You'll get inspired by the hard work that our fellows have worked on over the summer, and also get some bold ideas as well. So who is R42? We'll do a quick intro before we get started. We have a fund. We usually do first check. So it's a venture fund. We also have a debt fund and a quant fund with R42 and Algodynamics. Currently, we have over 100 deep science and technology investments. Then we have the R42 Institute, which the fellowship is part of, where we also have the Founders Program and various workshops and events and trainings as well. R42 was inspired by the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy book. And a little bit about our thesis. So we're based in Palo Alto, and we invest in AI and longevity deep tech companies at the intersection of computation and biology. So AI and longevity are at inflection points, and that's where R42 is. Our founder, Dr. Ranjan Nag, he's the adjunct professor in genetics, Stanford School of Medicine. He is a renowned serial entrepreneur, inventor, has been working on AI for the last 40 years, has achieved multiple awards, built companies, sold companies, and yes, is a founder of R42 Group and Institute. He's been pioneering AI for the last 40 years, so these are the snapshot of some of his inventions. And we also just launched the R42 University. That's already what we've been doing anyway for the last several years, but now we professionalize it. So it's a series of courses provided by the field masters. So currently we have 7 courses to transform your game. So AI and vibe coding from zero to AI power, venture ready pitching, yoga for aging, longevity science for skeptics, among others. You can check out on the QR code, or we also will send out a follow-up. So we just launched it. Very exciting. And then we also have the strategic commercialization partner, Cap AI. It's a listed company. So whereas at R42, we build venture-backed companies, Cap AI, we build publicly listed companies. So we have a strategic alliance with Cap AI PLC, the London Stock Exchange. Maybe Ranjan can tell a few words about that as well.
Yes, it's a listed company. The ticker symbol is CPAI.L, and it's really our commercialization entity for taking companies public. And we'll have, some of our technologies going into that entity. And I think the last presentation, Author 42, will be looking at being put into that entity. Thank you very much.
Great. Okay. A couple of other things. So we have a longevity club as well, our 42 AI and Longevity Club. It's a citizen science community where we collectively test various longevity products, tests, and then we share our results and findings. And we have various offers as well on our website. Some of them are our portfolio companies, some of them are other companies that we've tried and we've vetted ourselves. Currently, membership is free, so you're welcome to join. We host a monthly Zoom with various companies as well that are talking about the science of their products or tests. Okay, and then we also have the Silicon Valley Strategic Applied Longevity Translation Symposium. That's a symposium with longevity speakers. It will be at Stanford Faculty Club on January 15th. As third year in a row, we're hosting that. And following that, we'll have the inaugural longevity retreat. It's a 2-day retreat at a 5-star hotel in Half Moon Bay. It'll be 2 nights of private workshops with longevity experts where you can actually speak with some of the longevity experts, professors, scientists, and then also health-focused meals, movement sessions, and also hands-on trials of science-backed products that we vetted ourselves. So a lot of them, you'll hear it first from us, and you'll test it first. But of course, they've been tested already. Okay, and then to our amazing R42 Institute team. So myself, I'm a principal at R42. I was at R42 from day one and evaluate companies in the longevity science and AI, and also manage the R42 Institute. Zishuan, venture associate at R42, helps with fund management operations, but he's been instrumental this year at managing the whole R42 Institute and organizing fellows. And then our projects today, over the summer, Cohort 8 are R42 Longevity Ecosystem, Longevity Portal, Stock Market Prediction with Algodynamics, No-Code LLM Fine-Tuning, Author 42 AI Book Writing Copilot, Studio 42 AI Book to Movie, Game 42 AI Book to Game. And a little bit about our amazing project mentors. So Nikki Santo has degrees in Harvard and Cambridge, and also CEO at Swaza. She's the program mentor for the whole fellowship. And then Dr. Ranjan Nag, the founder of R42. His project is AI Book Copilot. Myself, a mentor for the longevity ecosystem. And then Dr. Jeremy Sosabowski, co-founder and CEO of Algodynamics, mentoring stock market prediction project. Professor Frank Sortino, founder of Pension Research Institute and best known for Sortino Ratio, also mentoring stock market prediction project. Dr. Guy Nicholson, partner at R42 Fund. He's the mentor for no-code LLM fine-tuning. Linda Oleson, actress and director, fellowship mentor for AI Book to Movie. And then John Lee, managing director, Essentio, managing project R42 Longevity Ecosystem. Okay, we also have an office in Mountain Valley at Valley Research Park, where some of our portfolio companies are as well. Okay, and today's agenda. So we'll start with converting book to a movie, and then converting book to a game, so the other way around. Building a longevity ecosystem, using AI to predict the stock market, building longevity portal for personal health, making AI fine-tuning easy without the code. And finally, creating Author 42, a book writing platform, write and edit your bestseller with Author 42 with help of AI. So you can join all or some of the presentations, and you'll get the recording in the follow-up as well with some of our offers too. So, okay, any other comments, Ranjan, Zishuan?
Yes, I would like to say that our mentors, no one gets paid, and the fellows, no one is charged. And this is our 8th cohort, and we've taken people from all over the world. They're in groups of around about 4 people. Really, they're taught AI, very similar to the course I teach at Stanford, but for free. And they're taught AI and then put on a project. And these are, the R42 projects that we have different every year, though some continue from year to year. And the intention is not to make companies. It's really to be educational. It's how we keep up at R42 in new technologies, new areas, new fields. Certainly we invest, our founders educate us. But by running the institute, we actually learn about the field by touching something. I mean, you can take a course on something, you can read a book on it, you even talk to someone, but unless you're actually doing it, you don't really know. And so this is our exercise to really be on the cutting edge, and all these projects are cutting edge. Now, just so happens some of them do get commercialized. In the past, we've had Superbio.ai get commercialized. We've had Agemica, which is an aging vaccine. And we've had Supra, which is a digital twin avatar that's been commercialized. And then this year we'll have R42, which you can actually use, but that'll be the end of the project. You can actually log in and try and use it. So I think we are exactly on time. Anastasia, why don't we go to the first presentation?
Sounds great. Okay, so converting a book to a game. Sishan, could you stop the recording and then start again, please?
Imagine if reading a book wasn't just about turning pages, but about stepping into the story, making decisions, and experiencing the plot firsthand. Our platform transforms any book into an interactive, playable game in minutes, bridging the gap between reading comprehension and hands-on engagement. Good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan Mahandru with the Book to Game Initiative. I'm currently pursuing degrees in finance, entrepreneurship, and corporate innovation with keen interests in how AI tools can bring forth unthought of ideas.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Meena Krishna Kumar. I'm also part of the Book to Game team, and I'm currently completing my master's in computer science, specializing in AI, data science, and audio programming. I'm also a sound designer, a composer, and an audio engineer for video games and films. One of our team members who is not unfortunately here with us today, his name is Ryan Newman. He's a recent college graduate in data science and computer science with an interest in data analytics and machine learning.
Right now, classrooms face a huge challenge where students are spending less time reading and more time on digital entertainment. Traditional assignments often fail to hold their attention, and educators lack tools that turn reading into an active, fun, and really just a personalized experience. The result, well, it's leading to lower engagement, weaker comprehension, and missed opportunities for deeper learning. Our solution is an interactive book analysis page that harnesses the power of the OpenAI API. And essentially, when a user inputs a book title or text, our system analyzes it to identify key elements such as the main character, tone, supporting characters, major plot events, and even the ending. We then feed that analysis back into the API to generate an interactive text-based game. In this game, students step into the shoes of the main character and experience the plot firsthand. This level of immersion helps students retain the story better because they're not just reading it, they're living it, where it guides students through the book's plot from start to finish, reinforcing comprehension in a fun, game-like format. Next, Meena will walk through some screenshots of this page, and then she'll show you a live demo so you can see it in action.
Thank you, Ryan. Here we are using the AI platform called Lovable. In this section in the Lovable site that we created, the user can enter in the book title or full text. The user inputted title or text is sent to the OpenAI API on the back end. The API is then prompted to output a response containing the analysis with relevant literary features. After clicking the Analyze button, we wait for a response from the OpenAI API, and this analyst result appears. Under the hood, it uses a prompt to ask for an analysis covering specific literary features based on the user inputted title or text. Then the user can click the Create and Play button, which uses another prompt, which then generates the text-based interactive game based on the analysis. This analysis is then editable by the user, providing teachers control over the text-based game. After clicking Create and Play, a message appears in the interactive chat window, and the player can then pick an option and send it. This starts a chat conversation with the OpenAI API, enabling it to read all messages in the conversation history to help it function as an interactive text-based game. After the player sends a message, the AI responds and the game goes on until the end. Now, for each message and response in a conversation, the OpenAI API stores something called a session ID, and this can be used to save or share the current state of the game. Below the chat window, users have the option to paste in a session ID and hit play to start a saved game, or alternatively, click to copy the session ID to the clipboard so it can be shared. Teachers can then send a session ID to the students, and the students can then play the game that the teacher made by pasting and hitting play. Now, our platform combines Lovable as the orchestration and intelligence layer with Rosebud AI as a generative runtime engine to transform books into interactive games. Rosebud is a prompt-based game generator where you can provide it with playable 3D experiences using predefined templates. For our Wizard of Oz demo, based on the book of The Wizard of Oz, we will be showcasing based on the first-person RPG template, which is optimized for exploration, quest-based progression, and NPC interaction. This template gave us the foundation to generate voxel-style environments similar to Minecraft, bringing in characters like Dorothy, the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and build out story-driven quests such as following the Yellow Brick Road. Now, this integration begins in Lovable, which we configured as the AI analysis pipeline. When a book is uploaded, Lovable uses natural language processing to extract structured data, such as the entities, such as the characters, the location, the items, narrative arcs, such as the chapters, objectives, turning points, and as well as gameplay cues, such as the dialogue, enemies, and the conflicts. This output is organized into a JSON-like schema that provides clean mappings from story components into game mechanics. For example, Kansas, being the location of the game, is marked as the starting environment. Companions are defined as quest NPCs, and enemies like the Wicked Witch's guards are labeled as hostile actors. This schema becomes the blueprint for orchestrating the Rosebud prompts. Now, because Rosebud does not expose a public REST API, one of the biggest technical hurdles was enabling Lovable to communicate with it automatically. We've solved this by building a prompt orchestration layer directly in Lovable. This layer transforms the structured schema into Rosebud-ready prompts and injects them into the interactive game template interface. In practice, this eliminated the need for manual copying and pasting. Now, as soon as the book is analyzed, Lovable auto-generates and pushes the correct prompts into Rosebud's runtime environment, simulating API-like behavior while still working within Rosebud's constraints. This orchestration layer is what makes the integration seamless and scalable for any book. Now, rendering the game back inside Lovable required another engineering solution. In this case, Rosebud produces a playable 3D runtime, but by default, it lives inside in its own environment. To unify the workflow, we embedded Rosebud's output into Lovable through a containerized rendering system. This allows users to play the game directly in the same interface where they uploaded and analyzed their book. From the user's perspective, the entire pipeline, which is the book ingestion, the AI analysts, the game generation, and gameplay, happens inside Lovable without ever leaving the platform. This architectural decision provides a smooth user experience and highlights Lovable as the single entry point for both analysts and play. Now, by splitting responsibilities, our architecture achieves modality, where Lovable functions as the intelligence and orchestration layer, responsible for the analysis and prompt generation, while Rosebud acts as a synthesis engine, which is responsible for compiling those prompts into a live 3D environment. This design made it possible to solve three key challenges. Number one, Rosebud's lack of the public REST API, which is solved with the orchestration layer. Number two, the need for automation, which is solved with the schema to template mapping. And number three, which is the rendering gap, which is solved with containerized embedding. Together, these solutions demonstrate how we engineer two very different systems to operate as one unified platform, capable of dynamically turning any piece of literature into a playable game. So now I will show a quick live demo of our site where Ryan Mahandra will go over the landing page.
Yeah, I just pasted our lovable link in the chat. So so you guys can follow along as well. So here's the landing page, and as you can see, essentially we just have we try to make it very watered down and simple to the kind of user's eyes. We have the analyze book section, and then we'll get to the play Wizard of Oz adventure in a bit. We'll share that. And then just the three main features, we have the AI book analysis, the game generation, the teacher tools, and then essentially how it works, where you upload any book, you let the AI analyze the story, and then you could essentially just play as a branching game with just key learning checkpoints for the students. And then as we scroll down further, we have a couple demo games with various genres. We have mystery, fantasy, nonfiction for kids, and then even teacher favorite sections. And then a couple just demo games that we've already preloaded. And then the teacher preview zone where teachers can kind of edit popular templates and whatnot, and then clone other popular games on the site. A little what educators are saying blurb, and then essentially why it works. Again, these are just kind of made up stats, but can always be plugged in with real stats if it was to go to market and tested among larger groups. And then again, just final step on if you're ready to try, upload the book, and then give it a go.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. So now one of our teammates who, as I mentioned, couldn't be here today, his name is Ryan Newman. He created a short video explaining the analysis feature of our sites, which I will go ahead and present right now.
So welcome to the demo video of the analysis page. So as you can see here, the user can enter in the book title or text to analyze. If the user doesn't know what book to pick, this shuffle button can be picked, and as you can see, it will automatically fill it in with a random book. So I'll click the Analyze Book button, and as mentioned, it sends the book title to the OpenAI API, and it asks it to perform an analysis, which focuses on specific features such as the tone, opening scene, main character and goal, and so on. Next, you can click the Create and Play button, and again, it will send a message to the OpenAI API asking it to start an interactive text-based game. And as you can see, it has responded. So it gives this text introducing the setting of the game. It prompts the user to select from 3 options. So here I can select option 2, which is to help Aunt Polly finish her chores. Send the message to the AI. And as you get a response back, you can see that it correctly understands that we picked option 2, which is to help Aunt Polly with her chores. It advances the plot further, asks another set of questions, and the user can keep on padding to advance the game. Another capability we have is the ability to generate an adaptive quiz game. So while the interactive text-based game might be less explicitly academic, this one is more, as it directly quizzes users based on the plot of the book with the multiple choice. So here, it asks what Tom Sawyer does to avoid getting into trouble, and respond. And so this time we got it correct, and then it'll ask the next question, and again, it'll go on until it runs out of questions to ask. One thing about the OpenAI API, as we said earlier, was that it stores something called a session ID. So it's useful for teachers if they make a game and they want to share it with students. You can simply just copy here to get the session ID, and she can share it with her students, and students can then play it immediately. I'll demonstrate this right now. So what I'll do here is I will make sure to save our response ID, and now I will open up Merge Analysis in another tab. So you can see it started fresh with nothing here. And so students can then, so once the teacher shares this, students, they can copy it in, paste it, hit play, and it should restart the quiz from where we started earlier. And you can see here that we get our quiz question back. And this would also work for the interactive text-based part as well.
Thank you, Ryan. So as you see, he demonstrated here, which is the interactive text-based game. So now I'm going to showcase the 3D version game that we created, which is based on the book called The Wizard of Oz. So here we've come up with the analysis platform. So I'll type in Wizard Oz. We give the AI a minute for it to load. So as Ryan showed before with the previous book and with the previous screenshots that I showed, here with the Wizard of Oz, it's able to come up with the setting, the atmosphere, the tone, the main characters, as well as their goals, their mission, the plot progression, what happens when they meet along their friends and going to Emerald City, what happens based on the endings, the canon ending, as well as alternate failures, the narrative flow, and of course, the implementation notes for our engine. Now here, what I'm going to demonstrate is, so the Lovable in this case is able to create a game prompt, which we were able to embed, where basically it's able to come up with the master prompt that is able to copy and paste into Rosebud, which is our game time engine. And here, as you can see, it's able to describe quite a few things here, which is the core visual style, where in this case, we want a bright, bloxy, voxel terrain, as I mentioned before, similar to Minecraft. And of course, we want the iconic yellow brick road, and along with the friendly NPCs, such as like the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion. And then below, we want to also go into the gameplay mechanics. So this will be first-person movement, where we will be able to jump, sprint, and light combat with our sword, as we are playing as Dorothy in this game. And another thing about this game is it's quest-based progression. So it's going based off of the chapters of the book. Right now, we have 4 chapters currently developed. The other chapters are still being developed. However, we are able to continue on with the dialogue system, which ways that influence our story flow. And of course, we have inventory slots for magical items, such as like the classic silver shoes and the oil can and the heart charm. Then we go on to locations. As for right now, we have the farm set up at the yellow brick road. And then we have these accessibility features as well. So now I'm going to demonstrate the 3D version of the game. So before I go into the game, I'm going to take you to our quest log, where, as you can see, we can go through the story of Oz, or we can go through the various chapters. So we can go through chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. And these are the missions. So for example, in chapter 1, we have to defeat all of the 5 wicked witches flying monkeys that will appear through our game. So I'm going to click to resume. And hopefully everyone can see this. So maybe here comes our quiz that first comes up, which is what color, sorry, you can't hear me. What color is the magical road we are following? We know that we are following the yellow brick road. So we'll click on that. And then what is the third chapter quiz comes up, which is what was the Tin Man doing when we found him? In this case, we don't know, so we could pick a random answer. It corrects us by saying that it was stuck, unable to move. And then it says, what did the Tin Man wish that he had? In this case, if we pick heart, it says it's correct. So now we can click anywhere to continue. So here are these flying monkeys I was talking about. We can hit them. And then this is the game that's been created, so we can just move around freely. And we can jump over. Here's that classic yellow brick road. And as we go through here, this music is created by the AI itself. I will say, as a composer and sound designer, I was able to implement some of my own sort of features in there into the music itself. But most of it was done by the AI. So here, the final chapter comes up, which is what was the final adventure you had to confront the voxel Oz. If you read through the book, you know that it's going to be the Wicked Witch of the West. And then it says what happened after you confront the final challenge. This is something that we're still working on. But here you could say you completed all quests, and it says complete, click anywhere to continue. So here these flying monkeys come up again, so you could continuously attack them if you want. And then here you can keep moving. You can do various things in this game. You could place boxes if you want, have those characters fall into them. You could place another box on top for you to jump over.
1 minute remaining.
And this is our whole game so far. So we will we will be continuing to develop this game further by adding more chapter quizzes, more NPC character dialogue, essentially, and making sure this flows even more smoother the next time it's presented. So I will stop sharing. All right, so now I will go into the additional challenges that we faced while creating this pipeline, as well as the game itself. For the additional challenges that we faced, for one of them is a narrative structure for game structure, which is where the books unfold in a linear way, while games rely more on a branching paths and player choice. Another thing that we faced was world building from the text. This was a challenge where books describe words into worlds, but games need fully realized environments that the player can explore. The next thing that we faced was the dialogue and character interaction. This was something that we are still currently working on, but this is where the characters in the books often reveal themselves through narration and inner thoughts, which don't directly translate directly into gameplay. And then a couple of other things we faced was the asset generation. This is regarding to the FX and the music itself, as well as maintaining narrative coherence and the prompt generation as well.
I know we're out of time, but you could skip this slide and I'll just go on to the next. So looking ahead, we see three main areas of growth for this project. First, we have partnerships with publishers and schools ahead of mind. By integrating directly with learning platforms and literacy programs, we can put this tool in the hands of students where they already are, which is inside the classroom. And second, we see future models emerging. And just this year, Google unveiled the Genie 3, which focuses on prompt-generated game creation. And this tells us the space is moving fast, and we plan to stay on the leading edge by exploring how new models can make our tool even more dynamic. And finally, we see key concept highlights where you can imagine a history book where with important dates or a science text with key formulas automatically become part of the game objectives. That means students aren't just playing through the story, they're mastering the material. Together, these next steps can take us from a prototype into a platform that could scale across education. And with that, we're now open to any questions you guys may have.
Okay, now we're going to take questions about this project. Okay, we have a couple of questions from the chat. What about game style, look and feel, Fortnite, a byte, etc. Also, the copyright issue. Right?
Yeah, just rereading the question.
Okay.
So what exactly do you mean, Sean, by game style, look, and feel? In terms of the various tools we've been able to explore and tried in for the actual game creation, or
right now it's more like Minecraft, for instance, right? How about other styles of game?
Oh yeah, sure. We actually were able to explore a couple different game engines with the game Dot and G developed, and they all kind of had very similar Minecraft-y type looks. And then just recently, Genie 3 was announced like 2 weeks ago, and we saw that it was like hyper realistic. But it's not available to the public, but we can see that as potentially another style where it is more realistic-like and not just Minecraft-y feel. If that answers your question, maybe.
We got another question about how much manual work do you need to do to create a game, and how much is automated and generated by AI? Will this app be able to take any book? There are three good questions.
I can answer this question. So, in terms of manual work, I would say not too much. I wouldn't say there's significant coding involved, as with Rosebud, it is mainly prompt generated. So, of course, we have to really come up with the best prompt that we could. So, sometimes we had to ask certain AI tools to kind of give us some ideas as to what would really fit to go with the book to the game, especially for the Wizard of Oz demo, for the 3D version at least. When it comes to the interactive text-based game, that one was more where Ryan Newman had to be able to really kind of manually edit those sort of text styles to really go with the text-based game. And that itself was, of course, he was able to manage it to get it automatic generated by the AI. So as for the question, will this app be able to take any book? As of right now, it's able to take any book for the interactive text-based game, which we demonstrated earlier. As for the 3D game, right now it's just Wizard of Oz, but we are continuing to work on other books for the 3D game version as well.
Okay, good.
Last question. Actually, we're out of time, but the fellows can answer the questions in the chat as well. And then we go, thanks so much. That was amazing. So then the next presentation is converting a book to a movie.
All right. Hi, everyone. I have one very quick question for you guys. How long do you think it took to make the Cinderella movie? Feel free to think about it, put it in the chat, anything. All right, I'm going to go ahead and give you an answer. A ballpark figure of about 2 years. Now, how long do you think it took us to make a 1-minute trailer of the same Cinderella movie, just with the name of the book as an input? 7 minutes. How do you ask? I will tell you. With Studio 42, which is created to bring AI into storytelling to transform books to videos. I would now like to introduce our team. My name is Sanjana Kajuria, and I worked with Claire, Manisha, and Ashu the last 11 weeks with Linda as our wonderful mentor. Moving to our agenda for today, we wanted to walk you through 4 main topics. The first is project introduction, technical specifications, the thing we're most excited for, which is the demo of our product, and then the financial information and our vision for the future. Let's start by showing you how we reimagined the movie generation pipeline. So traditionally, turning a book into a movie or a trailer requires teams for writing, storyboarding, filming, editing, all of that. And each step is manual, slow, and costly. Now look at Studio 42's way. In the next slide. The entire pipeline is re-engineered. The book goes in, the AI model understands the book, creates the context and understands the plot, then generates the clips, and finally assembles a seamless trailer or a video all in one seamless flow. It's the same creative input, but with the same output, but with an AI backbone, compressing months and weeks of work into just minutes, and lowering the barriers for publishers, educators, and creators everywhere. But why does storytelling need a visual upgrade, you ask? Because today, storytelling is competing with video-first platforms like TikTok and YouTube. And publishers are under pressure to promote books visually, but lack cost-effective tools. Marketers, they need quick, attention-grabbing video assets instead of long written campaigns. And audiences, as you know, they are increasingly expecting cinematic experiences and not just text blurbs, because the attention span of a lot of audiences has been decreasing these days. So how is Studio 42 different? Existing tools either handle single visuals or they require expensive human editing. No other tools offer a streamlined solution that goes straight from a book to a scene to a cinematic video like a trailer or a movie in one flow. That's the unique value of Studio 42. We combine automation, creative control, and quality output. Now, I would like to pass it off to Manisha to speak about our technicals.
Thank you, Sanjana. So team, here is our block diagram of how we created the Studio 42 behind the scenes. So basically we are converting a book, like, if you're not interested in reading a book, you are converting it into a cinematic video using a modular AI. So if you read the block diagram from left to right, it starts with a plot extraction. We are breaking chapters into structured events and emotional beats. And then scene generation builds the visuals and character actions and environmental details. AI mimics a director's workflow, taking multiple retakes per scene, refining tone, pacing, and visuals under the creator approver's final cut. So we layer in cinematic effects and sound design to match the mood, everything from ambient studio to cinematic shot styles. The front end, however, is we have used React plus Python along with some user authentication, and we are uploading which is hosted on MCP server and with the cloud storage for scalable video asset management. It's a creator-first system that blends narrative depth with visual storytelling flexibility, iterative in nature and it's ethically designed. So we'll be moving on to the next slide, which is on the challenges we face. So here are just some 4 core challenges we have listed while building the app. First is on the plot perfection. So now when you are converting a book, it could be of any length, right? It could be of any genre. So extracting the perfect, scenes, which is capturing the emotional flow, the internal conflict, the scene continuity, matching camera angles, visual effects to tone, required nuanced modeling. That was one of the main key challenges which we faced. The second was the avatar consistency. So what we mean by avatar consistency is that you're keeping character appearance, the emotional expression stable across the scenes, which meant building persistent identity anchors. Third is the lip sync precision, because aligning the generated speech with the avatar mouth movements, especially across emotional shifts demanding fine-grained timing, that was one critical challenge for us. And the last being the dialogue and the narrator in the same scene, which requires more of careful layering to preserve clarity and pacing without overlapping. So that's about the challenges. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, thank you, Manisha. Here comes the most exciting part. Let's explore Studio 42, our innovative AI book-to-movie tool. Let's now dive into the demo. Can you see my screen? Okay, thank you. So as you can see, to get started, simply create a user account. This will unlock personalized features and customized experiences for you in the future. And when we log in, as you can see, Studio 42 is designed to feel like a book, complete with a page flipping effect and a simple, straightforward interface for ease of use. Just type in the book of any book you like to see as a video, whether it's a classic, a popular novel, or a favorite story from any genre. Our system will generate a unique, realistic cinematic short video based on its chosen book. While we're currently focused on delivering those high-quality adaptations, we will actually offer more customizations options in the future. Also, we offer those book tabs where you can browse public domain books or get some book recommendations. Or you can go to those trailers. You can browse trailer for real-life movies, so you can get some inspirations as well as movies that's generated by other users of our platform. So let's go back. For example, I will start with a classic one. Let's say maybe Cinderella. Normally, the trailer will generate takes less than about 10 minutes, but to save time, here's the pre-generated videos from our backend.
Well, well, what news does the royal courier bring to our humble abode?
Oh, mother, imagine! The prince!
Honestly, the very thought of you at the ball is laughable.
Yes, Cinderella, perhaps you can dance with the mice.
And try not to stain your pretty rags with soot.
It's all gone, just like a dream.
Tears are not for you, my dear. Not tonight.
In that singular moment, the world outside ceased to exist. Only the gleam.
In a world that had momentarily ceased its turning, they found a universe within each other's gaze.
The enchanted can't held.
His heart, once a fortress against the world, now beat only for the echo of a forgotten melody.
It's too tight. Mother, I can't even get my heel in.
Nonsense. You're doing it wrong. Let me.
And after the video is presented, you can download or maybe share with the YouTube, like Instagram, like Facebook and your social network. Maybe now let's try something new. Let's say we can try Frankenstein. So if horror movies isn't your thing, feel free to close your eye for next minute. It's a little bit scary.
But the very essence of life, to wrest it from the void itself, is that not the ultimate pursuit?
It lives! Oh God, it lives! What?
It was just about those dates in September. I think I'll just go for it. You don't normally book anything up for them.
Unanswered. A warmth emanated, a distant hum of a world I could only dream of touching. Old man! Soon you will not be alone. We will have peace. Oh, no, I cannot. I will.
Okay, so if you want to take a deeper look of those videos, you can scan the QR code here. So what you just saw is truly one of a kind. There's nothing else like this on the market today. What makes it so unique is what happens behind the scenes. Our app doesn't just generate high quality video and audio, it actually perfects each scene through multiple iterations inside the model. And thanks to advanced technologies like Vertex AI, chain of thought reasoning, and LangChain, the system helps improving itself until it produces a final output that's as close as perfect as possible. So you don't see all the work happening in the background, but the result is clear, polished, and truly innovative. And that's what sets us apart. Then I will pass off to Ashley to talk about our roadmap.
Thank you, Claire. It is amazing to see the product in action. What we just saw is a new era of storytelling. In a few short clicks, the content actually became a video. And could you tell that this was all created by an LLM and not directors, humans, actors, coming together to produce a trailer? And the numbers actually tell the story. Hollywood productions like this cost millions and it can take years to implement. And here, this is happening in minutes and for a fraction of cost. So on this slide as well, I will share with you that on the business side, we plan on testing 2 pricing models to drive adoption and engagement for the platform so we can learn. So we'll first offer a freemium service where the users can start free and then upgrade. And then also we will test a subscription service where users can pay monthly for ongoing access for a limited number of videos that they can watch. So we will look for some capital investments to onboard about 10,000 first users. And we estimate that the margins will improve as the cost drop at scale. So in the next slide, what you will see is that our product is easily extendable beyond entertainment. There's lots of use cases. We heard about the book to game project. So there's a lot of use cases within the edtech space where this can be easily applied. Think of your history book translating into engaging, enigmatic trailers for the students to, now embrace a highly engaged environment. And then it also changes the whole process of pitching ideas, so investors can help evaluate the right opportunities from an investment standpoint. So it takes efficiency to a whole new level. So in the next slide, we will talk about a product roadmap. So what you saw today is a trailer. And in our next iteration, we plan on working to create a 20-minute movie. And then on an ongoing basis, our goal is to continue to customize. I see there's a few questions coming in the chat regarding personalization and customization, so that the tool is and the LLMs behind the scenes are already attuned to make sure that the scene connectivity as well as the character consistency is improving throughout the story. All right, so that's all from us. I think we're right on time. We have really enjoyed working together for the last 11 weeks, as Sanjana said in the very beginning. We would open it up now to the live discussion. Hope you enjoyed the demo as we all did playing for you.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so we have we have quite a lot of time for questions, but let's prioritize those who will verbalize their questions. So by raising hands, anyone wants to, maybe somebody who already asked on the chat.
Okay, I think I can take one that says a Studio 42, Movie 42.
Yeah.
Probably yes, but it depends on what name we decide to use as we take this forward. Feel free to ask live. We're happy to answer a question for you. Any variances and biases? So Abdul, you have a question. Could you say more about your question? Oh, actually, Marissa.
Does this work on a book that is a new book that's being written, or does it only work with classics?
Manisha, do you want to take that?
Sure. Please, can you repeat again? There was a voice modulation. I mean, I was not able.
So does this only work on classic books that would be somewhere on the internet, or if someone is writing a new book, can you do the same?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So actually in this release, we are just giving an option to convert a public domain book into a movie. But if you want to read any book which is written by you or anybody, in future we are going to provide an option of author tools as part of customization and personalization, where you can upload your own written book. If you just have an idea, you have your book with you, you can convert it into movie, promote it on social platforms. And if you are a director who wants to reuse a published book already in a public domain, that is also very much possible. So it will be an end-to-end feature which you can download and share across.
Just want to say about the biases and variances. Watching the clip there about Cinderella, if it was any other script, how would the AI produce to see if it is actors of African origin, Caribbean origin, Asian origin, or Caucasian origin? How can it depict that?
That's a very good question, Abdul.
And the second question is, the actors used, how would it affect intellectual property of the actual actor? For example, would I be able to use a face for a Hollywood actor or a big screen TV actor, or even anyone else's actor?
That's a very good question, and I really like that you thought about the product. So, first question, that yes, when we were working on this, we were working on the character consistency, and how we have worked that's in our code. Like we have used LLM to basically maintain the avatar across. And for the second question, yes, we will in future, when we'll give the personalization feature, you can choose that which character in book will play, maybe a Hollywood actor. And even the description of each actor is right now we are taking from the book. So if J.K. Rowling describes Harry Potter to look so and so, right now we are just doing as per author. But in future, we will give you an option to personalize and edit those author tools to provide your own customization that, even though author has, given like this, I want this character to be played by someone from Hollywood. Though you cannot change the character description, like how character looks, character talks, because that has to match with the book. Otherwise, we are going away from the book. So it will still stick to the book, but you can change the, appearance to be, something else, like you mentioned, and in both in terms of look and feel and in terms of like Hollywood actor or Bollywood actor of your choice.
What I'm saying about the actor itself is, for example, if you use a Hollywood actor or a Bollywood actor, the actor would, without their permission, being on a movie made by a book, how would that be addressed in terms of the actor thinking, that's my face, that's my intellectual property that is being used? I have not given any sort of permission. So how does a platform tackle that? That's my question.
Yeah, so
go ahead, Manisha.
Yeah, so right now, even if you're generating the fake videos, deep fake videos, so they are all allowing personal, public figures to be used across. But yes, there are limitations when you're using any personal people, but public figures by law, they are allowed to be used as, for characters.
In terms of the movie making money, for example, a book that's been made into a film, an actor, and it's making a lot of money. Ethically, it's not going to be okay, is it? I mean, an actor saying their face, that everything's going to be used for a certain book, they didn't get permission, and a certain person or a platform is making money from it.
Yeah.
They've worked so hard throughout their life to maintain their image, not only their image, their reputation, their work, and now it's just going to be, I mean, I just see on an ethical point of view, there will be a lot of backlash in this, a lot. So it has to be tackled in a sense whereby in the future, right now, there is no law, but when actors and when people get together, they would start taking some sort of action and it was called some sort of backlash. How does the platform protect itself from what I'm saying, from future proof?
Yeah, so I can take that. I think what we wanted to demonstrate today is the power of the LLM. So let's go back to what the vision originally, that we've taken content and then being able to visualize it, and are we able to do that seamlessly without any kind of human intervention? So that was the proof point today that we demonstrated. To your point, ethics is actually very near and dear to our hearts. I was part of the R42 group AI ethics initiative last summer cohort. So as we scale the product, as we introduce this into the market, all of these questions are some that we would answer with respect to what's already available on the LLMs today with respect to ethics, and then how do we protect IP? So we would need to create and think through the right guardrails to make sure that we don't land into issues like the one that you're bringing about. So it's responsible scaling, responsible engagement, and we want to make sure that our product is one that members trust and they feel safe to use and is the go-to platform because the intent is to drive engagement. That's built on safety. So we would definitely take care of all of these concerns before we scale that to market.
Great. Anyone else wants to raise hand and verbalize the question? Oh, Naveen.
Hi, I was a little bit curious about what the target of this app was. Is it kind of to create trailers to promote the book, or are we providing a movie to watch instead of reading the book?
So it would be both. To your point, the objective of the trailer is to get you engaged, right, in reading the book that is this one that you want to pick up. And then eventually, if you are a content creator and then there was a question in the chat that somebody has written a book and they want to publish a movie, rather than you seeking out investments, I mentioned earlier, for millions of dollars to create that into a movie, this would also cater to that audience or that user cohort that is interested in getting the content visualized. So it would target multiple segments, but for depending on what market we want, if it's in the ed tech space and it's for the students, we would definitely want to drive reading, that would be the number one mission. So we would want to engage them in, let's say, the trailer part, so they can pick up the book and then start. The objective there would be for them to continue even more reading, but get excited by watching trailers quickly.
Thank you.
Okay. What resolution and frame rate did you get?
Claire or Manisha, that's a good question.
We have Victoria Wood raised hand as well. Just saw that. Mhm.
Resolution frame rate.
Yeah, that is by high. By default, we've configured high because nobody wants to watch a low video
Low
resolution.
video, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. So right now we are just configured high. If in future somebody requests us, we can give them a feature to convert it into a medium one, because even if you promote it somewhere, medium resolution videos people are not interested to watch. So, but right now we have defaulted it to high. Yes,
Great.
Victoria, you have a question.
Victoria.
Hi. In my experience with AI, it works well in the initial prompt, but it tends to lose coherence over multiple queries. So my concern is, how do you keep it from accidentally changing the character appearances from scene to scene and the backgrounds, etc., because that's very distracting when watching a movie or a series if the appearances are not consistent.
That is an excellent question and is our secret sauce. So we're just going to give you a little teaser of how we accomplish that. Manisha, do you want to take that?
Yeah. So Victoria, we have written an AI script right now, which is actually handling this part of the process from the script which is getting generated, that it is training the LLM again and again on the character sketch to maintain the character coherency and to remove the hallucination problem which AI faces. So right now, even if you're generating videos from any open source platform, the moment you give a prompt, the next time it generates a video is totally different, right? The same thing, but it gives different output. So that's what this product is about, having consistency, removing hallucinations, and training again and again with low cost, and getting a video out of a book, a consistent video. Yes, you may have a next question that you're having.
Sorry, for the sake of
Thank you.
time, we have to go to the next team, but please keep answering the question in the chat and keep posting on those. Thank you, Studio 42. Let's go to Longevity Ecosystem team.
Great. Good morning, everyone. My name is Andres Santana, and I'm excited to be presenting the work of this year's R42 Longevity Ecosystem team. Our wonderful team includes Sabine Bokhari, a dentist with an MPhil from King's College London in regenerative dentistry, Mikarina Rabinowitz, a founding member of Center City Ventures VC firm, and an MBA candidate at the Wharton School of Business, and myself, a master's candidate in molecular cell biology and immunology at Copenhagen University, and lead of innovation and strategy at the Regenerative Organic Sustainability Institute. We'd like to give thanks to our mentors for this project, which include Dr. Ranjan Nag, Anastasia Giarletta, and Zishuan An. We would also like to mention Fernando Aires, a member of a previous year's fellowship cohort, who gave us many important insights as we developed this project. Thank you all for being here. Now let's move on to longevity. From Cleopatra's milk baths to 15th century fables about the fountain of youth, how can we live longer has been one of history's most prominent questions. And in some ways, we have solved it, because for most of human history, living longer meant surviving disease. Modern medicine's interventions in epidemiology, infectious disease, public health, and trauma surgery have more than doubled global average life expectancy since 1900, from around 30 to 32 years to around 79 years. Yet this progress has plateaued. As more and more people surpass our growing life expectancy, we are in a world where we live long enough to suffer the effects of time. Chronic degenerative conditions like cardiovascular disease, neurodegeneration, cancer, and frailty have plateaued human lifespan, where the maximum has been maintained at 122 years for decades now, below the theoretical maximum of 125, which increases in theory every year. The face of the question, How do we live longer? Thus shifts from addressing acute illness to understanding the mechanisms behind aging and its diseases. And in this moment in time, we have made incredible findings towards understanding aging and extending our human lifespan, thanks to advances in artificial intelligence, omics technologies, and longitudinal health data. Based on frameworks from the Stanford Center on Longevity and landmark publications from the likes of Claudio Franceschi of the University of Bologna and Dr. Mike Snyder of the Stanford School of Medicine, we see aging as not a single condition, but as a convergence of disruptions in metabolism, proteostasis, epigenetic stability, stem cell function, DNA repair, and inflammation. We also see that aging is not linear. It is a dynamic process where certain tissues and pathways age faster than others at different moments in our lives. And what is critical is that these processes behind aging have been made measurable through tests like epigenetic clocks, proteomic profiles, cognitive benchmarks, microbiome sequencing, and imaging. In addition to that, and what makes this moment even more incredible, is that we cannot just track where you're aging fastest. Industry and academia are developing the interventions to do something about it. And this is exactly where the R42 group portfolio shines immensely. At R42, we have positioned ourselves at the convergence of diagnostics, AI, consumer health tools, and translational science. Our portfolio includes startups working on gene editing, biological age clocks, and drug repurposing, like via AI, like Turn Bio and Agemica, as well as consumer-informed health interventions like NeuroAge. By bringing together the researchers redefining our understanding of aging, like Professor Snyder, with founders who are redefining how an individual can use their own data to address their own age-related diseases, like Dr. Christine Glorioso of NeuroAge, we are building an ecosystem that lets consumers, founders, and VCs become part of this inflection point. Not only that, we practice what we preach, and this innovative ecosystem is one that also produces 62-year-olds that can still run marathons, like our managing director, Dr. Ron John Nag. But even though we have this wealth of information, bringing together decades of research, centuries of exploration to the consumer, we saw a major bottleneck. Real people are overwhelmed. The average person today has access to more data than any doctor did 20 years ago. Wearables, genetic reports, glucose monitors, and more are becoming part of everyday life for those that want to make the most out of their health and extend their lifespan. Even though they have a data goldmine, there is almost no consolidated infrastructure for how to prepare and use the data effectively. And one of the most challenging problems of all is that not all this data and science can be validated. The majority of longevity content online is anecdotal, pseudoscientific, or siloed, which results in wasted time, confusion due to misinformation overload, and isolation in an endeavor that requires clarity and community. The problem is not a lack of science, but a lack of direction and purpose.
So I'm Sabine, and so today I'm excited to introduce you to our three-part solution centered on the R42 Longevity Retreat at the Ritz-Carlton in Half Moon Bay. So the first phase would be pre-retreat diagnostics, second one would be retreat itself, and third is the continuation of foundation, what you will learn from the retreat itself. Before you even arrive at the retreat, we start by building one of the most comprehensive health baselines available today. We are not just looking at the surface level blood work, we are going deep into the biology of aging. So my question is, what is age? As mentioned by my colleague Andreas, age is both a clock and a process. Chronological age cannot be modified. It's just a number on your passport. However, luckily the biological age, it can be modified, delayed, or reversed, depending upon the lifestyle, genetics, and exposure. Epigenetic clock measures biological age based on DNA methylation. So in the next slide, we'll see with our early neurodegeneration assays, we can detect subtle signals of neuroinflammation, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's disease even before the symptoms appear. DNA shedding is the natural process in our body, Algorithms detect DNA fragments that are shed in bloodstream. We analyze methylation patterns to determine if each fragment came from cancerous or healthy cell. Through GRAIL Early Cancer Panel, we screen for over 50 types of cancer. With the IOLO platform, we measure more than 500 blood biomarkers that tell the story of our metabolism, inflammation, and resilience. And through whole genome sequencing, you receive actionable insights about your genetic predispositions and how to take control over them. But we don't stop here. Longevity lives in the microbiome too. So with Joanna sequencing, we analyze over 600 microbial markers. The microplastics assays will help reveal how modern exposures are impacting our biology. Another beauty of this retreat is the DEXA scan and MRI scans. So for MRI, we will be covering for full body and brain MRI scans. My question is, what is DEXA scan? So it is a dual energy X-ray absorptiometry scan, a fast, painless X-ray test that measures the density of bone minerals to predict the risk of osteoporosis, osteopenia, and rest of bone pathologies. Coming back to the MRI, MRI stands for the magnetic resonance imaging. A full body MRI scan can provide images of your soft tissues such as heart, liver, lung, brain, kidney, and revealing abnormalities like tumors, cysts, cancers, aneurysms responsible for stroke and cardiovascular problems. In addition to these, we would be offering VO2 max testing for aerobic fitness, carotid ultrasound to reveal vascular age, strength testing to determine the grip. Finally, recovery and daily rhythms are as important as biomarkers. So we would be measuring resting metabolic rate for baseline calorie expenditure, continuous glucose monitoring to figure out the real-time nutrition insights, hearing health through an advanced audiology screen, and carrying out multi-night sleep studies. Altogether, this creates not just data, but a 360-degree map of your biology, tied directly to longevity and health span, the foundation for your personalized roadmap. Thank you. So now Adhika will be taking over.
Thank you so much, Sabine. We've brought together some of the most exciting voices in longevity, people who are actively reshaping the future of health and aging. Here's a taste of some of the experts we've gathered. Dr. Michael Snyder, director at the Stanford Center for Genomics and Personalized Medicine, will show you how decoding your glucotype, the way your body handles glucose, can reveal hidden secrets and extend lifespan. Dr. Martin Kowalski, also at Stanford, pioneers the science of sleep. Forget generic sleep hygiene tips. Dr. Kowalski uses real-time data to pinpoint why your nights are broken and how to fix them, and even how to sleep in order to add extra healthy years to your life. Dr. Sakjit Sarj-Takar runs a preventative health span and longevity clinic. Doctors today are trained primarily to treat illness rather than prevent it. Dr. Sarj will not only teach you how to stay healthier, but also how to turn your own physician into a true partner in your longevity journey. Dr. Kristen Glorioso, co-founder of NeuroAge, is focused on protecting the brain and will share research-based insights to keep cognition resilient as you age. Together, these speakers and many others you'll see in our itinerary bring the science of longevity to life. This is where we enter the second phase, the retreat itself, in which you'll turn the health data you've gathered into real expertise. You learn to understand and influence your results, and after the retreat, also how to turn that knowledge into lasting action. Day one begins with a warm welcome, light food, herbal elixirs, and wellness gift bags. The afternoon includes opening remarks and icebreakers. The group will then be split in two. Half will continue with their health assessments, such as the hearing and grip tests, while the other half joins expert consult tables, small, intimate sessions in which participants sit with a medical expert for a Q&A. On the next day, the groups will switch. Some of the speakers I just mentioned will step in on this day. Dr. Michael Snyder introducing glucotypes, Dr. Sarge shows how to make your physician your longevity ally, and Dr. Kowalski leads a session on sleep, followed by guided yoga to send you off into a pleasant sleep. Day 2 is all about hacking some of the big systems of aging: brain, gut, metabolism, and mobility. We start the day with optional yoga, then dive into seminars. Dr. Kristen Glorioso on neurohacking and keeping the brain sharp, Dr. Elena Gross on the gut-brain axis 2.0, and Dr. Daniel Gomari on rewiring your metabolism. Before lunch, we'll have a chef demo, cooking for longevity. In the afternoon, participants once again split between health assessments and consult tables. Then we'll have a guided walk, enjoying the beautiful scenery of Half Moon Bay. And then Dr. Huijun Ring bridges traditional Chinese and modern medicine. We then continue with longevity beyond the clinic, how to apply these principles in daily life. We close with Professor Ron John Nagg's seminar, fittingly titled Run for Your Life, showing how running may be one of the most powerful longevity tools. We'll close with dinner, a fireside chat, and community time. While we won't officially endorse alcohol at a longevity retreat, we listen and we don't judge. Our final day is about bringing it all together. After optional Qigong and Tai Chi and breakfast, of course, you'll join Q&As, this time with our speakers. Then participants begin building their longevity action plan. Using the R42 method will help you use what you've learned to create action items and strategies leading to real lasting changes. And I'll expand on that in the next slide. Before we close, we'll have a raffle with prizes, including keto supplements, free access to NeuroAge packs, and Genome Link, the latter of which will allow you to explore your genetic heritage, and even a private dinner with Professors Snyder and Ron John. Finally, we close with a farewell lunch where participants officially join the R42 Retreat Alumni Network, carrying forward both a community and a clear path for the next chapter. This is where the last phase of the retreat begins. We're not here just for inspiration, we're here for measurable change. Most retreats end at the door. With R42, that's where it really begins. Each participant gets a personalized portal with results, action items, and AI-driven insights. You can track progress, repeat tests, and access tailored products, plus first invitations to new interventions and clinical trials. You'll also have continuous access through the Longevity Club with expert Q&As and ongoing discussions. And it's not just about tools. You'll be paired with a longevity buddy for accountability and connected to a network of scientists, founders, and companions that last long after the retreat. You don't just walk away with a nice experience. You walk away with a plan, the tools to execute it, and the experts and companions to support you on your journey. Those of you who've participated in a longevity retreat before know that longevity can mean very different things. Some retreats are just wellness getaways, while others offer many consultations but little testing. What we wanted to create is something different, science-based, comprehensive, and designed for lasting impact. This slide may look busy, but the point is simple. While other retreats test 0, 100, or 200 biomarkers.
2 minutes.
All right, I'm almost done. At R42, we offer over 1,000 across cancer, cardiovascular, metabolic, and more. And it's not just volume of biomarkers. We also offer a lot more everything else, and depth and personalization. We don't have time to cover everything that makes our retreat unique, but here are a few highlights. First, Hilton Head is cheaper, but it's essentially a wellness getaway. Compared to Canyon Ranch and Lanzerhof, we provide more science-driven services at a far more competitive price. Second, testing. Not just over 1,000 biomarkers, but unique value, including diagnostics and treatments for organs specifically, such as the brain, and sense-specific aging, backed by genetics. Third, aesthetics. Where others offer Botox, we use science to tailor skin and hair products to you. Fourth, wearables. Others use them only on site. We send them beforehand, so you arrive with a real baseline. And finally, speakers. Instead of coaches or spa doctors, you'll spend time with MDs, PhDs, and innovators at the cutting edge, not just in lectures, but around the table, on walks, and as part of the R42 community long after. So while other retreats may give you a glimpse of the state of the art.
1 minute.
Don't worry, I have one more slide. We're on track. Thank you, Dishuan. As I was saying, so while other retreats may give you a glimpse of the state of the art, with us, you are among the artists. And here is where it all comes together. We invite you to join us at the very first R42 Longevity Retreat, January 16 to 18, at the Ritz in Half Moon Bay. This is not designed to be a mass event. We keep the experience intimate to make sure every participant gets real access to the experts and the full value of the program. And so we are strictly limiting the number of spots. If you already know longevity is a priority for you, and decades from now you see yourself like our friend here, then come join us. We're offering an immediacy $500 discount, valid only through Sunday at 11:59 p.m. Scan the QR code now to learn more and secure your place. And finally, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Wow, amazing. So anyone wants to raise your hand for questions? Okay, so how early in someone's life should they go through tests, or is it available to anyone at any age?
In my opinion, there's nothing like preventative medicine, although unfortunately, this is not where conventional medicine is at yet. If you start doing it when you're already sick, it's too late. So, and there are also a lot of things that if you catch early, you can fix. For example, genetic mutations for cancer. You can undergo treatments, preventative treatments for that, and that can even save your life.
Yeah,
So,
I would like to add, at the age of 35, if you could start going for the test, to know that if there are any biomarkers that are about to appear, so we could do the interceptive measures rather than waiting for appearance of the the symptoms before they appear. So we should focus more on these tests earlier, so we could do the interceptive medicine or preventative medicine rather than the onset. And it varies from each person, genetics, their BMI, body weight. So there are multiple factors that can determine at what age they could go for a particular test.
Yes, and
yeah,
and I'm 24 years old, and I've taken some of these tests. I did a DEXA scan. I just took off my second continuous glucometer. And like Rika said, right, preventive medicine is great. And really a deviation from the normal is kind of where illnesses fall. And I know with my DEXA scan, right, I was like, oh, okay, I have a little bit more fat than I expected, a little bit less muscle mass than I wanted. And so I made a change in my life. And so there may be some tests that, are going to be providing more insights that'll come later on. But even at 24 years old, I can get plenty of insights from some of these tests.
And I just want to close with a quote that I personally appreciate. If we're not willing to put in the time now and effort into keeping ourselves healthy, we'll have to put 10 times that same time and resources later into getting treatment when we're sick.
Yes, and things like a whole body MRI as well, it gives you a baseline as well of your health. So it's good to do it early, I would say, whenever you have a chance. And these are the products and various tests that we vetted ourselves as well, fellows vetted, and we vetted. So, and you can do them at any time, and you get the baseline of your health. but very deep insights as well. And some of it is cutting edge, it's not available anywhere, or like the comprehensive brain aging test as well. Okay, anyone else we have 2 minutes for questions. Would like to raise their hand or comment? Okay, so what about how do you maintain the confidentiality of the data and interpretation of the data?
So basically the customers, they will be going to the labs that will be recording all their, information. So they already have, they follow the regulations of HIPAA and OSHA. So the data would be protected and safe because the companies who are going to withdraw the blood and share with the professors, they are already the professors at Stanford University and some other renowned institutes. So everything would be kept confidential. And we would be follow the law and ethics part.
That's great. That's great. Okay, and any biological aging clock included?
So it would be just the epigenetic clock that we would be using to measure the biological age based on the DNA methylation. As I mentioned earlier, that in the body, the cells keep on shedding the DNA in the bloodstream. So it could be either from the cancerous cells or the healthy cells. If it is from the cancerous cells, we will use different algorithms to figure out that if we get any DNA fragments from the cancerous cells, so we know that we before even the symptoms appear, so we could provide the interceptive, treatment before it happens.
Actually, this is where the strength is because every organ ages differently. And so there are numerous aging clocks in this program. There's a brain aging clock. The ILO, the metabolomic markers give a clock, and then the team's actually working on their own algorithm to work out a clock. So when it's difficult, it's usually it's not a single clock out there. You can certainly get a single clock, which is methylation, but we're trying to get a bit further than that. What's more interesting is, are you a kidney ager? Are you a lung ager? Are you a heart ager? What we call an ageotype. And that's why the website you can go to find out more about this I posted is ageotype.com.
Okay.
To just add a small note and build on what Professor Ranjan just said, we are going to have over 5 different age measures, organ specific. We're doing brain aging, which is unique, as we went over other retreats to see what additional value we can provide. We have not seen such an option for any other retreat. Cardiovascular aging, immune, and skin or facial aging, in addition to metabolics. And so we really made an effort to cover the entire umbrella of the big systems that age and are impacted by age.
Thank you. Great, great. So there are a couple more questions in the chat, but the team, feel free to answer them. And then we'll go on to using AI to predict the stock market.
Thank you, Anastasia. Hello and welcome to this session on using AI to predict the stock market. My name is Sanjeev, and what we thought we'll do today is basically give you a quick overview on how you could potentially use AI to get a little bit more from your investments in the stock market. We will also look at quite a few of the steps that we had to take as part of this project. Also hear a little bit about the challenges that we encountered, and more importantly, what the outcomes were from all the work that the cohort has done. We will also take a look into some of the future enhancements that could be considered as this project matures, and then we'll open it up for some Q&A. Now, just so we can all get the most out of this conversation today, I'd invite you to imagine for a minute. Just imagine if this was back in July of 2021, and you'd invested in the stock market, specifically the S&P 500, which tracks the largest 500 open public companies in the United States. Chances are, since then, the returns that you could have expected would be around 45%. Now, just what if, instead of 45%, the returns were actually 112%? Wouldn't that be attractive? Wouldn't it be worth the time to actually put in the time and effort to actually achieve that? And that's precisely what this group was put together to do, to investigate, under the guidance of the mentors, Dr. Jeremy, who happens to be the co-founder and CEO of AlgoDynamics, and Professor Frank Sortino, who's a legend in his own right and also the creator of the Sortino ratio. Now, this is not a new effort. Previous cohorts have done quite a lot of work in this area. And what we decided to do this year was actually focus on three very specific areas of improvement. One was we wanted to rework the trading strategies and the decision-making process, so we could take the most advantage of the daily fluctuations and variations in the market. And for us to be able to do that effectively, we had to look into integrating with the AlgoDynamics signal system, and also integrate with the trading platform, so we could actually do some live trading as we were getting the signals. But then we also decided to bring in some crypto assets, specifically Bitcoin and Ethereum, that has allowed us to diversify our portfolio. Now, of course, in order to do all of that work, we had to go about and look into bringing together a lot of different tools. If you're not familiar with these, don't worry, we weren't either, but we had a job to do. So we went about learning about some of the key concepts that we had to understand in order to achieve what we wanted to do, starting with the signals that we were getting from the AlgoDynamics system. Case in point, the up flag, which is essentially a signal from AlgoDynamics for you to consider increasing your investment or putting in a little bit more money in the assets that you are tracking, whereas a subsequent end flag right after the up flag would be indicative that the AlgoDynamic system doesn't necessarily have enough information or insights into the market movement, and so you may want to either stay put where you are or maybe dilute your position a little bit. On the flip side, if you were to get the down flag, that's essentially a signal from the system to reconsider your position and dilute a little bit further. And a subsequent end flag after the down flag would mean, again, it doesn't have enough visibility into the order flow that's going on in the market, and you may want to either stay put or maybe dilute it a little bit further. Now, normally, when you hear about the use of AI in stock market prediction, it's usually based on historical data, meaning the investment is on building an AI model that's looking at the past behavior, trying to identify patterns, and then trying to predict or forecast what could potentially happen. AlgoDynamics doesn't operate that way. It actually does not require any historical data. That's because it's looking at the current state of the market, what's really being bought and sold. It's looking at the current behavior of the buyers and sellers, and that's really how it's giving the up and down and signals. So you could say that the AlgoDynamic system is very much in the present. It's very much giving you the signals based on the current situation in the market. Another concept that we had to understand was back testing. It's essentially a fancy way of saying if you had all the historical data with you and you have your decision-making algorithms with you, what would have been the potential outcome and result if you were to have invested way back when? It's a pretty nice way of testing your theories and decision-making process without actually investing any real money. We also had to understand about stop loss, which essentially is a directive to the trading platform to say that in case the value of an asset goes below a certain number or percentage, it's basically your directive to the trading platform to go ahead and dilute the position and the assets in the market. Normally, the number is around 3%. Generally speaking, that's usually what you hear. And that's what we've also used for our project. Now, Let's hear from Alan, who's going to touch upon a few more of the key concepts and more specifically the challenges that we encountered as we went about in this project. Alan, over to you.
Thanks, Sanjeev. So instead of focusing on individual stocks, we focus on the entire market, the S&P 500, which are a basket of the top 500 stocks traded in the United States. We use SPY, this ticker symbol, as an instrument to buy this basket of stock. We also consider SPHB, which are a different basket of stocks with higher volatility compared to the S&P 500 stocks. Besides that, we also traded sector ETFs, which are different baskets of stocks focused on individual sectors. So, for example, on technology sectors and on energy sectors. And in our next slide, it shows that we used TPR, tipping point ratio, to determine how much weight we're going to allocate into different sector ETFs. And tipping point ratio, TPR, is a quite important concept we used in our strategy. It is a performance measure that compares an investment's upside potential to its downside risk. So think about a tipping point ratio larger than 1. That means the investment's upside potential is bigger than its downside risk. We used the tipping point ratio to determine how much weight we're going to allocate on different sectors. And yeah, next slide, please. So a couple of different concepts. Strategy means that just a plan of choosing and adjusting investments to meet our goal. It involves certain criteria and decides which trade we're going to make. And for API and integration, it is just a way to connect to, for example, online databases to retrieve our price data and how that connects to an actual trading brokerage platform to execute trade automatically. That's also one of the areas that we focused on. We also did research on volatility. We want to make sure that our strategy fluctuates on a lower level at a higher level of return. And then this is a general overview of our trading system, which consists of 4 big modules. First is refresh data, which retrieves the price data from online databases. And our second module is our backtesting, which backtests our strategy. Whenever we develop a new strategy, we throw that into our backtest script to see whether our strategy is giving a decent return at a lower level of volatility. And our third module, and the most important module, is our trade script, which retrieves the latest flags from algo dynamics. It uses different strategies to make trades. It calls on different strategies. And our last module consists of a lot of different strategies of different asset classes, of different trading logic, which determines what and when do we want to sell a certain asset. And of course, in the process of doing that, we encountered numerous challenges. We need to think about constantly how to better use the flags in our strategy. What level should we set our stop loss line? We want to maximize our upside potential. Well, we don't want too much of a downside risk. How can we control volatility while maximizing returns? We want decent return, but we don't want too much of a fluctuation. And those were challenges on the strategy side. We also have a lot of challenges on the technical side as well. So for example, how can we retrieve real-time flags from the Algo Dynamics platform into our trading system? And how do we integrate our trading system into an actual trading platform to connect our trading system to, for example, actual brokers like IBKR, like Alpaca, and execute trade automatically? And I'm glad to say that after all of our efforts, we were able to successfully overcome all the challenges. And yeah, just a quick disclaimer here, all the information here are for educational purposes only. They're not financial advice. And without further ado, my colleague Sriram will delve deeper into our strategies and our results.
Thanks, Alan. All right, so let's start with a simple question. What would have happened if you invested in the S&P 500 4 years ago? That's the benchmark we're going to be comparing all of our strategies to. So if you had done this, you would have got a 44% return with 18% annual volatility. Now that's a good return, but the volatility means that it's been far from a smooth ride, as you can see from the graph. And that's where we come in. our aim is to provide S&P level returns, but without the associated volatility. So if the S&P falls in a given year, we still want to be providing at least 10% returns. But now let's turn to the existing strategy. So when we started this project, the first thing that we did was to just look at the existing code base and see how the current strategy worked. But after careful review of the internal algodynamics research, it became quite clear to us that by aligning our approach closer to the flag signals,
Shriyam, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, the co-host used me apparently. So yeah, it became clear that by aligning our approach more with the flag signals, that it could lead to a big increase in performance. So we led a full redevelopment of the core strategy logic this year. And as you can see, the existing strategy gives similar-ish returns to the S&P, but it doesn't provide the consistency that we were aiming for. Next, let's take a look at the workflow. So our strategy trades once a day after the US market closes. So what we do is we get the latest market data, so our flags and signals. We use this to determine the overall market conditions. And then based off this, our strategy tells us how to adjust our positions. And for the live integration, there's also an extra step where there's human review before any trades are executed. So our first strategy was really just a proof of concept. What we were doing was applying the flag signals directly to the S&P. So in this case, we used the SPY and the SPY flag signals. So when there's an up flag, we put 100% of our portfolio into the S&P. When there's a down flag, we are 60% invested still. The only time we go fully to cash is when the stop loss is triggered, such as the area you can see circled in black. And in that case, we reevaluate our position at the end of the day. And the stop loss is fairly primitive. It's just a 3% drop during the day. But even with this very simple setup, you can see that we can already deliver higher returns than the S&P with reduced volatility, because it tracks the S&P when there's a good when the market is doing well, and it sizes down when we're concerned about the market. But our main strategy really builds from here. So the basis of our main strategy uses the tipping point ratios, and we use the TPRs to allocate the S&P sector ETFs. So when the TPR is less than 1, it means there's more downside risk compared to upside potential, and therefore we don't allocate anything in that case. And when the TPR is greater than 1, we allocate weighting according to how big the TPR is. And we cap any individual sector ETF allocation to 30% to prevent overexposure to a particular industry. But the rest of the logic on the stop loss and the downsizing is similar to as before. The next stage was to bring in more flag signals. So what we did was we took the flag signals from the S&P variance, and we used these to give a combined picture, which is more accurate and gives us a better view of the market. And therefore, we can be more confident in when to scale up or size down in our current investments. And as you can see, it leads to a slightly improved return compared to the previous one. The next step was to add in SBHV. So when we have really high confidence that the market's going to rise, we take our excess cash allocation and we allocate that to SBHV. And SBHV is just the stocks in the S&P 500 that move the most with the market. And therefore, this change to the strategy leads to a particular increase in performance during the upswings. But we also wanted to see what else we could do from here. So we explored other assets, such as Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin, all we did was we took a 3% allocation flat when the flags were active. So first, this allocation is taken from
2
cash,
minutes.
and then if needed, is taken from SBHV. But the Bitcoin strategy leads to significantly increased returns and not a huge increase in volatility because we're only using it when the flags are active. So that helps to mitigate the increase in volatility. So finally, we did some other research into the TPRs and flags that hasn't made it into what you've just seen. So for gold, the flags and the TPRs both seem to have limited predicted potential. So it would only lead to an increase in performance if the gold allocation was purely taken out of cash. For Bitcoin, as you saw on the previous slide, the flags are quite effective, but the TPRs weren't effective. And from our initial exploration into Ethereum, we found that the Ethereum flags seem to have better predictive power than Bitcoin. So going forward, we could possibly replace Bitcoin with Ethereum to enhance returns even further. But now I'm going to hand you over to Tyler, who's going to take you through some of the future possibilities.
Thank you, Sharon. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about the art of the possible with our project. But before I go into that, I wanted to talk about the steps that we took to get there. So some of the things that we had to endure were challenges. That was like our first step. We had to deal with API integrations, real-time data, and backtest problems. But that led to us having real achievements. We were able to integrate the live signals. We were able to get high return outcomes. And we have now even created a road to automating our system, which also leads to what's next for our project. We can do things like incorporate advanced stop loss logic, which would allow us to sell when at different rates of like drop in the market. And then we're also able to integrate into other platforms like interactive brokers. And then also, of course, automation, full automation. And so this leads to another thing, which is user interface. We have an idea of a user interface for when our project is automated. What excites me most about the UI is just being able to see the portfolio update by itself in real time using our strategy. So after you select your strategy here, you would then select your risk, and then you would just start trading. You can edit different parameters if you want, but for the most part, it would just be taking the predictive signals that we have researched, and it would essentially use our strategy for your portfolio. And so just to recap, we started with an overview of our system and the predictive power of the flags and how it generated high returns. We looked at how we built strategies, overcame challenges, and validated things with backtests. We saw the outcomes, measurable performance, and finally, we explored the future, automation in our project, and a user-friendly interface. And so that's the art of the possible system. And now we'd love to take any questions that you guys may have. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anyone wants to raise a hand to ask a question? Jonathan.
Yeah, I have a question. Are the returns assuming net of taxes, or are they in a taxable account or a tax-free account? Because the frequency of trading will affect the taxes.
Yeah, all of our backtesting results don't take into account taxes on gains, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, that's what I was asking. Thank you.
Can we invest with it?
I think you would have to contact Professor Nag for that one.
Okay. Does it work only in the US market?
We can work on anything where the algodynamics guys can get flags. I think they do a lot of work on other markets as well. They just need sufficient liquidity to generate the flags. But the R42 fund for now is primarily US focused, as it's the biggest market in the world.
Yes, so we do have an R42 quant fund available for accredited investors that takes the strategies that we've been developing over the last few years. So each year it gets better, and this team's doing great.
Okay, anyone else wants to raise their hand? Any backtesting? I think we mentioned that a little bit.
Yeah, so all of the graphs you saw on the strategy slides were the results of our backtests.
Let's see the time frame of the period of in the back test that you looked at.
Yeah, if I'm going to be completely honest, it's mainly because of the APIs getting the historical data. So to calculate the TPRs, we need 36 months of returns previous to that month to get our sizing. So we've just gone as far back as possible on the API from what we could do. But with the data, we could backtest further, and we've seen how the flags function. So I don't think there's any issues of overfitting because we tried to keep everything as neutral as possible and data driven. Like we're really trying to just unify with the flags and their timing.
Looks like Paul has a question.
Yeah, I appreciate your comment about data-driven decision-making, but today was a very interesting, or has been a very interesting day in the market. Is there a way to anticipate qualitative news that's coming, or put yourself on alert to monitor flags, knowing that news like what happened today would drive a higher level of awareness?
Yeah, so algodynamics works on the order flow in the market. So it'll issue a flag based off the behavior of the other actors in the market. So we don't actually need direct access to the news. It just depends on how everyone else is reacting to the news. And we've checked like big news events in the past, and the flags seem to line up really well. The thing is because currently we can only run it once a day, even if the flags have predicted something earlier, we can't capture on that upside right now. But as we move to fully live integrate it, we'll be more attuned with reacting to big news announcements.
Yeah. If I could just add a little bit of color. So Paul, that's exactly the intent here, is to be able to react as quickly as the flags come in. And that's why you see the live integration with the algodynamic system as well as the trading platform.
Ming Zhang.
Brad, time out.
Sorry, I have a question about you talk about the reaction to the news. For instance, let's say there's an announcement on tariff and then a reverse on a tariff and things like that. How do you, I mean, I'm sure the market is going to react. And also, let's say you have news about announcement of interest rate. How do you incorporate that in your model in that sense if something that has happened that will be completely unpredictable?
Yeah, so I think we don't look at the news in any way. We only look at the impacts of the order flow. And I think that's really just captures the impact of the news because the market will move based off how everyone's reacting to it. So algodynamics doesn't do anything with news related things. It's purely based off the order flow.
Okay, let's go to next question. Thank you, everyone. Please keep posting and answering the questions.
I'll start sharing my screen.
So yeah, the next one is building a longevity portal for personal health.
Let me know when you can see my screen in slideshow mode, and then I'll get started.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thanks everyone for joining and giving us a chance to present our longevity portal for today. So in essence, we're trying to build a personalized dashboard for anybody interested in taking better care of themselves. So I'll jump straight into the crux of what we're building. I believe our colleagues with the longevity ecosystem gave you a very good overview with the premise of why we're doing what we do and what activities will be covered in the retreat. So we're just going to talk through some parts of what our personalized AI guide looks like for turning longevity science into hopefully everyday action. So being R42 and obviously just trying to be competitive in this world, all our assistant will be AI powered, hopefully with the ability to ingest a lot of different disparate information and translate it into personalized actionable insights. At this moment, for our first step, our focused approach is to optimize the experience for R42 retreat participants. My team member, Rishabh, will talk you through what that looks like. And of course, post-retreat, we also want to incorporate some features to encourage healthier behaviors, have some stickiness, and make sure there's an ability for people to feel hopeful about taking good care of themselves outside of a focused environment such as a retreat. So we have a wellness hub in the portal, community and discussion forums, and also something we have named for now the R42 Center of Excellence, where we'll be aggregating information on best-in-class clinical trials that are recruiting for longevity-based interventions, highly cited papers, and of course describe some amazing portfolio companies that R42 has invested or will invest in. So without further ado, I'm just going to hand over to my colleague Rishabh right now, who's going to talk us through a live demo of the longevity portal. So Rishabh, just handing over to you. Share your screen, please.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yep.
You can go ahead and stop. Okay.
Yep.
On the screen here, and hopefully you guys should be able to see that. Let me know if it works. Good. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just gonna do a quick demo of what the portal looks like for users at the R42 longevity retreat. So give me just a second here. Okay. Okay. So here we are. So when you open it, you end up on this landing page, and basically just summarizes some of the features and like the objective of the retreat. And again, lots of extra speakers, biomarker analysis, promotes different wellness practices, and of course, fosters, the sort of community. And then in the top right, you have several of these features, so you can sign in or get started, but it's going to end up on the same portal. So I'm just going to show you how to set up the account for users at the portal or at the retreat. So obviously, just enter some basic information like your name, email, etc., age, and then I am 7'2", and then your weight and whatnot. And then next, after this, it's gonna ask you for things like your like primary health goals and current supplements or medications. This isn't really required, but if anything, it'll just help the AI when, curating recommendations for you. And so I think in this I skip it for now, but this is completely optional, but if anything, it'll just help in your personalized recommendations. And then this is the most important part. So here you can upload, different test results that you're going to be taking from like portfolio companies and affiliated R42 companies. So here in this demo, I'm going to upload data. And then also you can upload Apple Health data. And so here I upload Jonah Health. And then, so these are just reports that we've collected. So now NeuroAge, and then I'm going to upload the ELO biomarker data. Yeah, sure. Feel free to add anything if needed. And then after this, you can upload your Apple Watch health data, but this also works with like other like Garmin watches, Fitbits, really anything that you use. It's all like the same format, so you can do any of that. And this will take a second, and then this is also going to be integrated.
Yeah, Rishabh, do you mind just pausing on this screen? One thing I wanted to add is the crucial distinction that we're trying to target here is most of these tests are done pre-retreat. So they're data heavy, you get uploads of the functions. So the idea is we aggregate the information from these pre-retreat tests, and then we generate those personalized summaries for you to take into the retreat and then decide how to carry it forward. Thanks, Rishabh. Go ahead.
Yeah. And so once you've uploaded all of this, there should be small confirmations in the side, then you can go ahead and continue. Okay. You have the option to contribute your data into R42's federated learning network. Again, completely optional. But yeah, that basically completes your setup. It'll take a second, and it brings you to this page. And so here, there's just some like information. So here you have your recent activity. So it shows that we've just uploaded all this different data. But the primary features in the top, you have PDF insights, and here you have the choice to AI analyze all of your different reports. So there's 1, 2, 3. And so that'll take a second. And basically it's just making a call to Gemini and then it's going to parse through the PDF, and then it's going to summarize just some random recommendations. It's going to flag any risk factors if it notices any. Fortunately, this person was healthy, so there's no urgent risk factors that are being flagged. But it just just highlights key points that it extracts from your reports. So this is pretty handy, and you can see. So we're planning on making this a little bit more detailed and thorough, but for the time being, it is able to do that. So then we go back here. And so aside for the synthesized AI reports, we also have sidebars that show more in-depth parsings of your actual report. And so here, this is for the ELO Health one. So you can, it basically just makes very nice visuals based off of trends. And then you can go to your Apple Health data or whichever watch or wearable you use. And you can see, it can summarize that and it highlights different risk factors, more personalized recommendations, and then just different trends that it notices in um, your data. So this is just useful to synthesize that information. Yeah. So as you populate this and add more data, it's gonna fill out the recommendations, and if you take biomarker tests, it's gonna fill that out as well. But for the most part, these are a lot of the AI features that we've implemented in the portal, and then we can proceed back to the home page. So here on the homepage, you have the Wellness Hub in the Center of Excellence. So if I go to Center of Excellence here, here's just like pretty relevant clinical trials that have been happening, and then it takes the links to those. And so yeah, and then you can go back up to webinars. So again, just different sessions that are happening that you can attend for information. Pretty relevant research papers on longevity that are just good reads. And then you can go back here and then there's the Wellness Hub. So here, it's kind of like a personal wellness journal in your account. So you can just add things, keep track of, what exercise you did or what progress you're making. We have some interesting like food recipes here, and then also like a little community forum. And so these are just mock answers that we just added to show, but you can ask questions and people can answer and do whatnot. And then here, this page is made specifically for the actual retreat. So I think the ecosystem team talked pretty well through about what the actual schedule is, but you can access that here. And then, as you get more test results, you can upload it and it'll automatically populate that within your account. And then again, agenda and speakers. So yeah, so and then we have lecture summaries. So as different speakers come, we're gonna have AI basically generate summaries and populate this as well. So you can basically view that as it happens, and you can reference back to these lecture summaries. And then similar to the discussion forum, there's this little community bar here, and this accesses the this discussion forum, and then you can also see profiles of other participants, and connect with people through here. So yeah, I think this basically summarizes a lot of the offerings that we've made for the R42 Copilot. And yeah, the intention is just it's going to be a central hub for everyone that is at the retreat, and just wanting to get a little bit more out of it while also keeping track and getting personalized recommendations from their own data. So yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Rishabh. So I'll take over right now and reshare my screen. Thank you. 1 second. Is everybody able to see it in slideshow mode again? Yes?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Yeah, so again, so the demo just walked through some of the essential features and obviously some parts that relate to the retreat directly as well. And I just want to remind of the audience here certain reasons why that was done. I think it was very well explained by the ecosystem team. But the idea was we want to get people started on their longevity journey using specifically science-based insights and stray away from the very snake oily terms that could often be attributed to longevity if we look at it from an outset. So that's why with the controlled environment of having R42 retreat attendees being as our pilot users, we're able to capitalize on some pre-retreat tests like your neuro-age markers, your AOLO, and your Jonah health, metabolic health markers. And so we're starting with science, but at the same time, we realize that the insights that the AI generates has to be
1 minute.
simple enough. Yeah, and simple enough for you to get started on that. So I'll skip to maybe the challenges and then just end off with the team. So right now, this is an educational tool only. We don't have patient-grade privacy certifications such as HIPAA. We still have to work on a lot of aggregation of disparate data sources. So right now we've started with a few things, but as Rishabh briefly mentioned, we have ability to control medical prescriptions and supplement use as well. And then there's the whole wellness aspect where the website's almost akin to how Duolingo has gamified language learning. We need to probably think more about how we could satisfy people emotionally. And obviously, if we consider behavior, a lot of the activities have to be bidirectional to promote actionable behavior change. So linking with your Google Calendar or Apple Health, not just from a one way, but having both sides covered. I just want to end off with, due to time right now, just to thank the team, without whom which none of this would have been possible, and the awesome mentorship of Professor Nag, and also, of course, Zishuan goes without saying. So thanks everyone for your attention. We're very happy to take questions. Yep. Let me just monitor the chat. I'm not sure if there's any directed at us at the moment. Tell me otherwise.
Anyone wants to raise their hand too?
Tell us about the algorithm to put the data sets together to give recommendations. How did you implement that or do that?
Rishabh, you're muted. You want to take that?
Yeah, so basically, we have a PDF parsing tool. It's just like a feature that we imported, and then after that, it takes all the text and then makes a call to Gemini. And so then Gemini goes through that, and I've made a list of like just cool features to extract from these reports, such as, like your cognitive age or like trends in heart rate or sleep and stuff like that. And so then Gemini goes through the PDF parsings of these reports, it extracts all that information, and from there it's able to provide, recommendations and then also generate pretty neat visuals from it. So yeah.
Okay. Can this be used before retreat and be used for social interaction later on?
Yeah, so we're planning on opening up the discussion forum and like the community like forum before, so you can upload like your profile on there and some of your interests, and then also start writing things or asking questions in the channels, and so people can answer them, and then also just connect with you based off of like similar interests before. So that's our plan, and so yeah.
Okay, great.
Nando wanted to ask a question.
Yes, you mentioned the supplementation data that can be uploaded. How are you guys using that data? Are you, again, using Gemini to cross-reference that with the biomarkers and the lab results and that sort of thing, and kind of adjust what people should be taking for supplement?
Yeah, that's the plan for now. So far, most of our like testing has been with just going through these reports, as we haven't entered much supplement data in there yet. But the plan is definitely to have like Gemini or whatever tool we're making calls to sort of cross-reference it with your reports, and then go from there. So yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I'd like to add to what Rishabh mentioned is one of the biggest challenges, and which I faced working on hypertension solutions previously, was a lot of supplemental information was self-declared. There's no sort of very nicely managed tool akin to an EHR. So that's one thing I wanted to flag as issues going forward as well when we consider this. I'm going to scroll back just to see if I missed anything. Am I? Hold up. Wait.
What about how difficult would it be to add I mean, there's new tests pop up all the time, right? So can you sort of like, the fellows are here for a small amount of time, but once you've all gone, how is it like self-maintainable? Or is it because it's unlovable or it's cursor, it just makes it's relatively easy to add a new PDF because Gemini will just say, okay, here's another one.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. It's like it, it's it, at least when I was developing the portal, once you nail the format for one, it's pretty easy to tweak it and just adjust it for another. So if we want to add any other type of data source or report, at least from my end, it's not time consuming at all, to just add another option in the setup page, and then obviously go in the code and tweak the different features that Gemini should be looking for based off of the important information that's coming from that. So obviously for Neuro Age, we're looking for things like your cognitive score, your brain health, right? But for YOLO, we're looking for things like metabolic stress and et cetera, right? So it's not hard at all. It's just, basically just copy pasting what we've taken from the previous PDF parsings, and then just tweaking it based off of what that offering is. Um, I think in the future it'd be really cool if we can make it so that users themselves can just add extra like tabs to do more reports. And that's an adaptable feature that we can definitely look into. But for the time being, it's frankly not that hard to add more tests. So yeah.
Okay, and then there's loads of wellness clinics and things like that, and companies that are sort of collecting data, ranging from Apple Health, which is on your watch, right, to sort of newcomers. Um, what is the advantage of this portal over like it just going to Apple Health and they can add things too, right? Or some clinic chain that tries to, or even your doctor's electronic health records. Where does this play in the landscape?
Sure, do you want to take that?
Sure. So at the moment, based on the assumptions that we explained during the pitch, is we're starting with exclusively the R42 ecosystem just to understand the behaviors of people pre and post retreat. So what I mean by that is there's a certain set of portfolio companies whose scientific information we're going to leverage, generate the insights based on that, see how people react to those behaviors, and then modify it based on that initial feedback. Now, Apple, Aura, rightly, as you mentioned, would always be able to capitalize on mass adoption. But so far, I would say that the generated summaries or action items are not very, very specific or personalized at the moment. Now, obviously, this could change, but the approach we're taking is to start off with heavy science to begin with.
Right. So the differentiators, these most people are not doing these other tests and things like that. So that you can't actually upload your Jonah Health
Yeah.
results to Apple Health yet.
Yeah, and not just that, like, and in addition, so we have examples on the market like Function Health, which take a very large approach to the panels that they measure. hopefully through doing these portal-based activities, you'd be able to control the sort of follow-up test that you do. I would say you don't necessarily have to do a 200 blood panel every time. It's probably a one-off, and then you sort of control the test that you want to take as a follow-on initiative.
Okay, we're just on time, 1 or 2 minutes if anyone else wants to ask a question. Otherwise, we can move to the next one. Okay, let's just move to...
Great. The next one is making AI fine-tuning easy without code.
Perfect. Let me share my screen. So, hey folks, we're R42 Institute Fellowships, 8th cohort, no code LLM fine-tuning group. Let's get started. A few terms to kind of know off the bat. What's a large language model? So it's a large set of neural networks kind of that's trained on a lot of typically textual data, unless you're making it multimodal for video, audio, or images, which gives it good sort of text gestation and then generation skills. So then what's fine-tuning furthermore? That's taking that trained model, then further training it with presumably your specialized data set in order to kind of improve its performance for your task. An additional term, our group, we decided to go with full fine-tuning as a thing, but maybe I'll explain there's a couple ways to do it. Another way is to have adapter layer of weights in which your specialized behavior essentially lives in the extra weights that you put to your model. Full fine-tuning, though, you train all the weights in your model, so every basically number in the model gets tweaked according to your data. So it'll better learn your task and terminology, and typically you might do it with a smaller language model and still get more accurate and consistent results than you would with like a general one like GPT-5 or something like that. So why is this important? Well, according to market research by Gartner, by 2 years from now, over half of all companies will want custom AI models for either internal work or for their kind of business use cases. And current fine-tuning still requires quite a bit of technical expertise, whether that be coding skills, knowing how to work with command line interface or something like that, or kind of just knowing how to call APIs, and sometimes specific data formats. So custom AI is not yet easy enough.
So then, as you can see, the current solutions don't fully fulfill a no-code user's needs and constraints. So then what is the solution? This is where our product R42 Tune comes in. Our platform allows for quick fine-tuning that improves accuracy, specialization, and efficiency of your AI. With the accessibility of AI nowadays, most companies aren't looking for a brand new model, a brand new AI model. Instead, they're wanting a model that understands their world and their language. R42 Tune starts with a strong base model and allows you to specialize the model in 3 simple moves. First, you drop your files in any format, whether that be Excel, CSV, TXT, PDF, etc. Then you are able to adjust the training parameters or keep them at our recommended settings. Finally, after the fine-tuning happens, you can choose how to deploy your newly fine-tuned model, whether that's API or a downloadable model, or even just interacting with it through the model preview. As you can see, the outcome isn't a chatbot that gives vague or even maybe incorrect answers. It's a domain-aware, specialized assistant that speaks your terminology, follows your policies, and formats answers in a way that's expected. And you are able to achieve all of this without having to wrestle with data formats or even like complicated technical setup. Marco, next slide, please. So many of you may be asking, why would the average person want to use our product? The average person is a business owner or HR manager that wants AI that knows their product and company policies. The average person is a teacher that wants a teaching assistant to help support her students. The average person is someone who just wants accurate and personalized AI that fulfills their needs without all of the technical hassle. Regardless of the industry or field, the needs and pain points are the same. So to give some more context, we're going to introduce some customer personas. Next slide, please. Meet Marcus Rodriguez. He leads a 200-person startup where HR is constantly answering the same PTO and benefits questions all week. He's tried using generic bots, but often they misquote policy, which creates more work that HR has to give even more time to. Using R42 Tune, Marcus is able to upload the company handbook and procedures. The platform then fine-tunes a model that quotes policy correctly in the right tone and is available 24/7. HR is then able to shift from routine inquiries to real projects, while employees are still able to get accurate answers and instantly. Next slide, please. Our second persona is Sarah Clark, who is the owner of a restaurant chain that runs 5 locations with 50 employees. She wants replies that sound like her brand and know her menu. She's tried several no-code tools, but they still need engineers, which she doesn't have the resources or time for. In R42 Tune, she uploads menus and FAQs, clicks train, and then in minutes has a customer-ready support bot that answers accurately, maintains brand tones, and handles rush hour spikes. There is no need for extra staff or any additional agency. All this to say, whether you're in research, healthcare, finance, or hospitality, the workflow is the same. Just bring your documents and you can get a domain smart model. Then also deploy it where your team already works. Now, Tareem will show a demo of the website and training.
Hi everyone. Marco, can you make it full screen and then volume? Marco, can you unmute yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, let's start from the beginning.
Sign-in page, 42 LLM tuner. This is the landing page. Here, like the basic description. Let's get started. So the user is taken to the sign-in page. You can, if you're a returning customer, you can enter your email and password. If you want to enter your details manually, register for the first time, you can enter your information here. We've also integrated with Google Authentication Service, so you have the option to do Google one-click sign up. And let me go ahead and do that. So this is my account. I'm going to log in with my account. Let's see. So here's my dashboard. I'm logged in with my account and I can see my historical tasks that I've done. I have previously uploaded 3 files. I have done 4 training jobs and I have been charged $20 for this. And here we can see my 3 uploaded files. And I can either choose a fresh data set, or I can choose a previously uploaded data set. Just for demo purposes, I'll just do a new upload and I'm going to upload it. So this gets uploaded into S3 for persistence, and that's how it also knew that I have previously uploaded 3 data sets. So I'm gonna go and yeah, so here are all my 4 uploaded data sets. Here are my 4 uploaded files. I'm gonna select this one, the one that I just uploaded, and after I've selected, the next part is to tune my model. I'm going to do 2 parts. One is select the model that I want, and the other part is do the fine tuning, like how much do I want my model to learn? If I want my model to learn more, then I need to give it more time for learning, and that would be more expensive. While if I want my model to just do a very minimalistic tuning, like it should just know my company's name, or it should just understand how I have performed in the last 10 years from my 10-year data. I want to do very fine, like very course level, then it's going to be simpler, going to take less time and going to be more cost efficient. While if I wanted to learn more, then I'm going to have to give it more time to learn. And that's how you, that's how you would do. For right now, I'm just going to go ahead with the basic default values and let it start the tuning. Yeah, so this is saying that my SageMaker training has started. This is just to indicate that you don't really need to know it, but we've integrated with AWS Cloud as a service provider, and we're hosting the tuning on SageMaker of AWS. But let's move ahead. So after my tuning has started, I should get an email. Here is my email that my tuning has started. And so let me go and click OK, and it's going to take some time. Meanwhile, I'm supposed to keep monitoring, or if I go away from my app, then I'm also going to be notified on email once my tuning is completed. So we do not expect the user to stay on the screen until the tuning completes. So they can close the app and go and do whatever they were doing. You don't need to come back on this app. So I did get this email, and if we go back, I got another email that my training has been successfully completed. And I can see that we have two options. One is to download the model, and the other is I can use the endpoint for just hitting the endpoint of my API. So I'm going to download the model. Okay, so I can download it over here. Let me go and save it. Let me just say, I already have a name with model, so that's fine. So this is from, it's extracted because I'm not sure if I need to tune it more, if I need to tune it less, if I was already, very, like we expect the user to go slowly because it's chargeable. So the user could, test out if they're not happy with the performance, they can choose a different model, choose a different time, choose, a better data set for themselves. So that's the idea. So they can test out the model, and the way they can do it is over here. They can upload the model that they just downloaded. So let me choose that. It was here. So it's saying, do you really want to upload? Yes, we want to upload. And here's my model which got uploaded. And for testing purpose, I've just uploaded the Alice in Wonderland's first chapter. So I'm going to ask it, why did Alice go to Wonderland? So it's, yeah. So she followed the white rabbit and things like that. So now it's up to the user. They have this email. They can download the model whenever they want. They can use the model however they want. It's their end, and if they want to hit it by using it in some other application, in some other technique, it's up to them. They want to go and modify this model. It's completely up to them. So this was the demo, and thank you.
Thank you, Trini.
Yeah, Marco, the next slide. So here in the earlier demo, we saw how the app actually works. And here I've tried to show the before and the after. So before shows the medium GPT-2, which is the base model that I tuned on without any tuning. And the after is after tuning. So for both of them, I gave the same prompt that Alice looked around the garden, and so it's supposed to predict what would happen later on. So in the before, we can see that it's pretty vague. It doesn't specify it. She just looked around the garden and then she said, this is quite a nice place and things like that. But in the after one, we can see that it specifies that she met the Duchess and she was following the Duchess, and the context, because it already has the context of Alice in Wonderland because it trained on it. So this is the way it contextualizes the data. Yeah. So Marco, the next slide. And so that was the visual, like the language way. And here we've put it on metrics. So for LLMs, there are multiple metrics, but two of them are pretty standard. One is the cross entropy and the other one is perplexity. So both of them, if they're lower, the model is said to be performing better. So if the loss is lower, then it's good. And if the perplexity is lower, then it means that the model is better able to predict the next word. So if it's lower, that means it's not giving a random number. So both of them are supposed to be ideally lower. And here we can see that the base model loss and the perplexity for both of them, it did reduce after we did the tuning and we gave the prompt. So that's the metrics for it that we're tracking. Yep. Now let's move on to Tuesday. She'll explain the future steps and the basic summarization of. Yeah, thanks.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Let me show you exactly why our product is fundamentally different from everything else in the market. On the top row, you will see how the current landscape is presented. Right now, if you want to fine-tune AI models, you're facing nightmare of technical barriers. Every existing solution forces you to convert your data into JSON format, which is a coding exercise most business users simply cannot do. Sometimes you may need some terminal access or API setup knowledge or even manual data structuring skills. Think of it like requiring someone to rebuild an engine just to drive a car. Lastly, even ChatGPT, the most user-friendly option in the market right now, does lock you into OpenAI's single model ecosystem. So here's where we differentiate. Our product eliminates those barriers. We have seen proven results where we have built something different, where where the users can upload Excel, CSV, PDF, Word docs, any format you already use. Our system would auto detect the structure, so you don't have to understand the data schemas behind the scenes. Want to use Llama or Mistral or build your own custom model? No problem. Most importantly, lastly, there's a zero environment setup required, so you don't have to think about terminal setup, coding, or extreme technical expertise. So when we read about Jennifer's slide where she was talking about the HR manager, that HR manager persona would be able to fine-tune AI models as easily as they create PowerPoint presentations. So what's the bottom line? Every other solution in the market was built by engineers for engineers. Here we have done something different where we are building the product for actual business users who need AI that works without those complexities. We are making a different feature in the market with a different philosophy that opens AI tuning to more users who were locked up until now. Can we move on to the next slide, please? So what does the look ahead look like? We want to break it down into 3 parts. One, we want to make sure that a product makes it to the production. We want to scale it. First, we are re-architecting for true scalability. Right now, we do support open source model, but we are building and investing. We may invest into infrastructure to let users upload and fine tune their own custom models. More importantly, we are thinking about adding choices and fine tuning methods. User can select full fine tuning for maximum customization, or maybe a parameter efficient fine tuning for faster results. Think of it like choosing between a complete renovation versus targeted improvements. The next is security. This is important to build enterprise level trust. Here we require and to build the enterprise level trust, we do require enterprise grade security. Here we are thinking about implementing comprehensive audit trails so companies can track exactly what data was used and how the models were trained, which is very critical for customers in the compliance sectors, for example. We are also thinking through the privacy controls, which could include data encryption, access management, and ensuring the model storage is secure. Lastly, over here, we also want to make sure that the legal firewall automatically filters out the corrupt data or any prohibited content based on that region. So that requires customization and also thinking through what prohibitory words are used in a specific region. Once we have completed the scale and the security, we want to think about selection. So here we will be building intelligent selection capabilities. So instead of, let's say, users guessing which approach to use or such, our product will analyze their data set and recommend optimal model configuration. We want to make sure we provide curated data sets for common use cases that you saw before, so users can see examples before they build their own. So this isn't we are not building a product which caters to every type of scenario. We are very focused on making sure that our target user can make the right choice and then it's an obvious choice for them. So we are thinking it from a customer-centric point of view. So I think we can move to our next slide, please. We have come to a close. So thank you for listening through. Thank you for investing your time. This achievement would not have been possible without the dedication and teamwork of this team that you see on the slide. So thank you, everyone. And it wouldn't have been possible without the mentorship from Dr. Guy. So thank you so much, Dr. Guy, as well as the whole of R42. We are now open for questions. Please raise your hand. Abdul, I see your raised hand. Please go ahead.
What to say? I think it's been answered already on the chat, so that's okay.
Brother.
What's the question, Abdul? Tell us.
Will R42 be going into license agreement with Cap AI for this for the fine tuning?
Too early for that. But
because
go ahead.
The fine tuning large language model that what's been shown looks absolutely like the best what I've seen so far. Yeah, and I've been studying AI since January, and it just looks very promising. It does, and something that if it's not with Cap AI, will it be something? Will it be something investable in the future?
So all of these projects, I mean, we put less pressure on they're not meant to be commercialized. They're really education. We actually don't know, and pretty much nearly every project, we didn't really know whether even it could be done. And so it's quite challenging for the fellows to do. And they've done a great job here to try and get to the end in terms of, what is possible. Yeah. And it's you can see immediately this could be used in all the other projects. Actually, all the other projects could use it, and so we'll see. But it's a big thing going from a project versus an actual company or a business it's not a light step. But thank you, Abdul, for that question. I think I'll take that question for the fellows from the chat. Somebody asked about RAG frameworks, and Guy the mentor gave an opinion, but it'd be great to hear an opinion from the fellows. Why can't we just use RAG, which is you can think of it as a lookup table, versus trying to fine tune? What do you think? What's your opinions?
Okay, so is this question for fellows?
Yes, the fellows. Yes.
Yeah, okay. The reason why we didn't upfront go ahead with RAG is because RAG requires basically it's like a database query, and we're not saying we're not going to use it. We might definitely use it, but we wanted our model to firstly have the inherent knowledge of the domain and train it on it. But let's say we've tuned our model today, and 2 months later, are we going to retune it? Not necessarily. So in that situation, for the future 2 months, we could do a database query for the fresh information, but we inherently want to tune the model and then use RAG on top of it for the latest information.
Yeah, and of course, I actually set the project deliberately not to use RAG, so that was a dictate kind of thing because that's the traditional way, but instead changing the weights in and that's what I wanted the team to look at. So because my intuition is you're going to get a cheaper, smaller model to use versus sticking a RAG on a big, massive, expensive model. I think that's really the intuition that you're going to have going forward. People are going to say they're spending too much on these LLM models and they want a cheaper version. And if they're not going to answer any generic question, they don't need a massive model. Is the intuition. Let's see what's any other questions. Raise your hand.
I would just add to that. Last week, Google released a very small version of their Gemma 3. And that model doesn't work well out of the box for use cases, but it's specifically designed for fine tuning. So we're seeing kind of new things happening with model releases as well. And I wish that had come like at the start of this project and not in the last week.
So we might be a replacement for that, maybe, Guy. Yeah, we might be. Okay. Oh, someone's got their hand up. Oh no, it's just thumbs up. Somebody said. Let's see. What's our time? We've got 3 more minutes. Someone's got their hand up. David, yes, go ahead.
Sorry, just trying to get the mute in the video. Is there a standard that the model providers currently have that allows you to provide this fine-tuning info to, or do you have to integrate separately with each of them?
So the models inherently, if you're talking about the inherent nature of the models, like the one that's provided by OpenAI, then the one that's provided by Meta, Gemini with Google, so they are different. They require different, slightly different environment setup, and that's where we take the burden from the user. Like if they want to use OpenAI's model today, but they want to switch to Gemini, are they going to change it's
okay? Maybe I should have put it differently. Are they providing standard, even if they're not standard, are they providing, clear and ongoing APIs for you to do this fine tuning?
So yeah, they do provide APIs, right? They do provide APIs, but we are not using their API. We're using models and then tuning them and then providing a endpoint for the user similar to OpenAI's like the API keys. Would that answer your question?
Well, I guess I'm trying to understand. There's a model provider somewhere,
Right. Yes.
right? Are you taking their model and fine tuning it, or
Correct.
do they provide APIs through which you can fine tune a variant of the model?
You can do both of them, yes. And we do take models which are open source right now. We're using those models.
Yeah, so I think you're saying both is the answer, right? But clearly, I like the OpenAI one. You can only use the API because they don't give you the model, right?
That's basically my point. Is for many of these, the model's not available, and they clearly provide RAG APIs. What I wasn't sure about is, are they providing fine tuning APIs to certain customers?
Actually, I've maybe the follow-up modification of that question for the team is, you can go on the OpenAI site and they say, please fine tune. What's the difference between that and what we're doing here? Explain that.
Okay, so like if you go to OpenAI's website, you have a link for fine tuning, but it only provides OpenAI models for fine tuning. A user like me, let's say I have my own model that I built in-house. And I want like to tune that model. I do not want to pay OpenAI for using their model. I do not want to change my infra and then tune it. Or let's say if I want to use like OpenAI would only provide it for their model. It would not provide for other open source free models as well as other company models like Meta and the other Anthropics such.
Okay, let's get Joe's question so I can ask you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I was asking about the RAG. Really, the reason I asked is the use cases that the examples you gave seems like it's simple enough that a RAG-based system would work better than fine-tuning. And the advantages of RAG is you externalize the data and some of the additional context that you can provide to LM. And so you can swap in the LM. Whereas fine-tuning, it seems like you have to, for every time you want to try a new model, you have to fine-tune that model. And so just trying to figure out how do you evaluate these cases where fine-tuning, because there are advantages to fine-tuning, but you gotta pick the use cases that makes the most.
So we are like Ranjan answered and Guy answered, and I think like so we do like we could use going ahead, we could use RAG like in hand along with our model. Like we wanted to have a inherent intelligence about our business, and for keeping it consistent with the latest information, we could use RAGs to, yeah.
So essentially, I guess Dr. Nag wanted to figure out what you can do with just fine-tuning, which makes sense, right? You want to have a solution, simple, faster fine-tuning or faster and then combine the two.
And to answer, like probably the example that we gave was for the demo, but like imagine a company that has 10,000 employees, which is a medium level company because companies have a lot of employees. So they could use the model for different purposes. And
I think the key is really figure out what use case, because I think fine tuning means you need to build in certain
Hi, thank you for the question. But for the sake of time, we have to go to the next team. But please keep posting your question and answering in chat. And our last but not least will be Rajan's team, Author 42.
One second so I can figure out how you guys can see my full screen. So sorry, don't know why.
Good note, yeah.
Okay, just go as it is. It's the first.
Okay, sure thing. Every year, millions of books are published, but 90% of authors never earn a living, build a brand, or reach their audience. R42 is here to change that. I'm pleased to introduce you to the team shaping the future of publishing. We have Dr. Ranjang Nag, Managing Director and founder of the R42 Group and the mastermind and mentor behind R42's core technology. I'll take a moment and allow Jane and Anna to introduce themselves.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jane Lytle. I'm a traditionally published author. My book, Act Early Against Autism, Give Your Child a Fighting Chance from the Start, was published in 2008 by Penguin. After that, I became a syndicated columnist for United Media and wrote a column about the internet for 5 years. But my foray with the internet goes back to 1993 when I was editor and publisher of the Internet Letter, which was the first newsletter, not one of the first, but the first newsletter about the commercial rise of the internet. I've since been a copy editor at the Washington Post and former lead technologist at Booz Allen Hamilton. Take it away, Anna.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Ana Mortara. I'm a Brazilian economist. I've been with the World Bank and in 12 years of experience in policymaking in local, regional, and global settings. Right now, I'm in Harvard pursuing a mid-career master's in public administration. Back to you, Jeff.
Thank you, Anna. And I'm Jessica Butler, a nonprofit executive dedicated to advancing equity and driving measurable impact in underserved communities. I believe in harnessing the power of AI to optimize performance and amplify results of high-impact organization and visionary leaders. Let's get to the problem. Now, when it comes to the problem that authors face when writing a book, or better yet, a bestseller, authors face a twofold challenge, macro and micro. Now, on the macro level, many strong titles never get noticed due to a lack of professional editing, design, and marketing. Secondly, a professional level launch can cost a fortune, anywhere from $15,000 to $50,000, really pricing it out of reach for most independent authors. And thirdly, without a clear market insights, authors waste time, valuable time, and money producing books that are hard to sell. The results are incredible stories sit unseen, unread, while significant market of opportunity remains untapped and underleveraged. Now, on a micro level, what we found is that many apps that are currently on the market produce platform traps that take authors into tutorial loops where they spend hours clicking through setup screens, watching how-to videos, and wrestling with integrations instead of actually writing. Secondly, article writing isn't book writing. Books demand a completely different framework for structure, pacing, and depth that most current tools simply just don't address. And thirdly, many authors get overwhelmed before they even get started. There's a learning curve that's so steep that they don't even know where to put their first foot. Now, we believe there's an opportunity. And here's what that demand looks like and why the timing couldn't be better to capture it. There's a $100 billion publishing market ripe for disruption, according to Grandview Research. And as you can see from the stats on the page, there's a massive underleveraged global industry poised for reinvention. $466 growth in indie titles from 2013 to 2023. That's 459,000 to 2.6 million books, showcasing a clear demand, but also a saturated and unmet need. Secondly, we've seen a rise in self-published books and in the creator economy. Platforms like Book Talk prove creators want control and monetization. Our solution. R42 is the first all-in-one studio designed exclusively for authors, merging writing coach, creative partner, and strategic advisor into one single seamless platform. Because it's built by people who've lived the writing journey, we understand the challenges from the blank page to the bookshelf. That means every tool, insight, and feature is shaped with an author's real needs in mind, not just a coder's assumption. With AI-powered guidance and real-time publishing analytics, we help authors, 1, write with confidence, 2, publish with precision, and 3, earn with purpose. And what that looks like in practice is end-to-end guidance from first spark to final draft. Our expert support covers craft, structure, and strategy. Secondly, that creative partnership that I talked about really preserves each author's unique voice while sharpening clarity, pacing, and emotional impact. And thirdly, market smart strategy, positioning every book for the right audience at the right time to maximize reach, resonance, and revenue. And now I'm thrilled to hand it over to Jane to show you how this amazing platform works.
Right, here we go. All right, I'm going to show you a few features here. I'll just get set up here. I want to go to what sets R42 apart from the other book writing apps, and that's TrendSpotter. TrendSpotter compiles a lot of different data from a lot of different sources. Because what the other book writing apps will help you do is say, write better, maybe organize your thoughts and market your books, but none of them answer the question about what should I write? Because if writing is such a hard thing and writers want to make money, and that's the problem that TrendSpotter 42 solves. It's still a bit in development, but let me just tell you a little bit more about it. So if you think of it this way, the whole R42 platform isn't just another writing tool. So it's like having a market research team that the big publishers use, except now it's available to indie authors. So as an author, you don't have to guess what your readers might want. You can get real data that shows you exactly where the opportunities are. So here's what makes it different. While you're brainstorming your next book, TrendSpotter 42 is already tracking what's about to go viral. It's watching bestseller lists, seeing what people are searching on Google, monitoring social media conversations, and it spots trends weeks or even months before everyone else catches on. But it goes deeper than that. It actually breaks down why certain books succeed by looking at everything, how the book was priced, what the cover looks like, how readers engaged with it across different platforms. It's almost like reverse engineering success. And the really smart part is that it figures out exactly who your ideal readers are by watching how people actually behave online, what they buy, what videos they're watching, what they're interested in across different platforms. So there's no more guessing about your audience. Plus, it keeps an eye on your competition. So like I said, it's still a bit in development, but what you would do is that you would go to the feature here and you would look at, so we'll look at, there's emerging, there's profit potential and bestsellers. Right now, fiction is working, except for the generation of the book proposal. It's still in development for that. But nonetheless, say you wanted to write a profit potential book in nonfiction, you would scroll through the ideas. So the color that's closer to red has the most potential for making money, and it makes sense. Here we have caregiving economics. We just had two great presentations on longevity. So this type of book on this topic, financial and practical advice for adult children caring for aging parents, no matter how long someone lives, there's going to be a caregiving element to it. So if you're thinking about, well, what should I write to try to make some money, this would be an excellent topic to choose. So the idea is that you would then click on opportunity and it would go to a screen where then you would enter in more details about your book. But because that's still in development, I'm just going to go to the start a book page, because what the instructions that are written behind TrendSpotter will be consolidated and aggregated into the book idea generator. So it'll be a highly tailored type of book. So I'm just going to copy and paste what I had read over there, which was financial and practical advice. I'm just going to pop it in here. And then I'm going to set the caregiving economics, put the author's name, and then I can choose the genre. So I think this is going to be more education and reference. My target audience, well, it would probably be young adults, not going to be seniors. Book style, I'd like it to be a narrative. Complexity level, I'm going to make it beginner friendly just because caregiving is so complex. Let's not make it more complex. The tone, I think we'll make it candid. And point of view, we're going to go with the third person objective. And if you don't know what all the different POVs are for, we have these clickable tooltip guides, and it tells you what point of view is used for what type of genre. And then we have a timeline guide. I'm just going to leave that blank. Word count, we'll go with self-help. And then you have an opportunity to upload reference materials or URL. And then you can choose from either GPT-5, 4.1, 4.0, or Claude Sonnet. And in terms of generating book proposals, you can generate from 3 to 7 proposals. And then you click generate proposals. It takes a bit of a time to actually generate the proposal. So I've done it in advance, so I'm just going to flip over to that screen. So when it generates the book proposals, I get some very, very thorough results. So we have caring capital, navigating elder care in the digital age. It talks about your target audience, what keywords you might want to use for metadata, more about the opportunity. It also tells you who you're competing with, what other bestsellers are on this topic. And so there's 3 different proposals here. So I'm just going to click on parenting parents. And this doesn't take as long to generate the table of contents, but so we've added a little game in there. So it's like start your AI writing challenge. When using AI to improve dialogue and fiction, you should focus on character-specific speech patterns rather than general improvements. So you can choose true or false. It's true. And then it just keeps going and offering you different questions until it actually generates the content like it did just there. So what it does is it generates this very comprehensive table of contents. You can move the chapters around. You can move the sections around, because AI isn't really great about generating really great content if it's like 4,000 words at once. So we've broken up a chapter into different sections. So each section you can generate about 1,000 to 1,200 words. Oops, something happened. Well, I'm not sure what happened there, but so all right. So I'm just going to generate this. Because I don't know why it's in beta, okay? But the idea is that you can generate the chapter with AI and it'll generate each section, or you can write the section yourself. And if you write the section yourself, then you can select different parts of what you've written and you can then change the tone. You can make it more narrative or more persuasive. I'm still not sure. Let me see if I can go here. I knew this was going to happen, but I wanted to show you also there is an interface called Claro, which was called Creative Literary Assistant for Real Authors. So that's like your developmental editor, or your structural editor, your line editor, which is to polish up what you're writing, and also the copy editor. So it imports the entire manuscript in, say, the developmental editor. And from there, you can look at the copy and choose different prompts like big picture review. And the big picture review will then provide you an analysis of what it thinks about the book proposal, and it'll give you ideas on how to improve it. So there's 9 different prompts that go through the whole nonfiction developmental editing process. And then from there, you would go to the line editing process, like, is there clutter? Is there cliches? How can we improve, simplify the language, make sure it meets all the industry standards for something that's, quality to be published. And then finally, you can put the whole manuscript through the Chicago Manual of Style and have it copy edited. And there's also a separate chat window for you to ask questions and to have those answered. So that is, I'm sorry I can't show you more of it, but like I said, it's in beta, and
you need to set the timeline. That's the field it wasn't set. That's why it wasn't working.
Oh, okay. Well,
now it'll
and the other fiction is coming, and you can and also is uploading a manuscript. So it's and then a store where you can then put your book up there, and you can sell it.